Yes, yes, yes. Good evening. It's that time of the week. Spurs Unleashed. We weren't here last week, so that means we're going to unleash more this week. I am joined, as always, by Stel from Tottenham Away. This is the second time you've seen me today, Stel. You are welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling rather sick now, Savva, that you introduced it that way. So,
Good.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Stel's good. He's got his hat on. He's ready for this. Somebody else who's got his hat on, got a wonderful set of headphones as well. Look just like mine, different colours. I wonder why. Big up Has from Southview Coys. How you doing, brother?
All good, thanks. Yeah, good to be back on. Plenty to discuss tonight. Nice to see you guys, obviously. But yeah, I'm good otherwise.
Always nice to see us. Always nice to see us. And we have, of course, Perchy. 50% owner of my channel. It's not mine anymore. Perchy, how are you, mate? Our channel.
I'm good, thanks. Thank you. And obviously, just before we say, a massive shout out to Will, because it's Thanksgiving. So any Americans in here, big up to you guys.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Absolutely. Anybody in the chat, smash the like button. Let's start as we mean to go on. YouTubers get so bored of asking for likes. Please smash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. The link is in the chat and it is pinned, or it will be in the next 30 seconds or so when I get round to doing it. So please do subscribe if you haven't already, and subscribe to these two people in the group as well. Has at Southview Coys and Stel at Tottenham Away. Guys, it's been a long 2 weeks. And so I don't know about you guys. I'm thoroughly looking forward to getting back to Premier League football. Not just Spurs, just so happy that there's football on. We've got Man City, Liverpool to kick it all off at 12:30, which is good. You've got Arsenal in the evening away at Brentford, and then we play Aston Villa, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Who else? Raise their hand. Who else can't stand International Week? Is it just me, or is everyone there now? Are we like?
I'm raising up. Can't stand it.
It's gone, isn't it? It's just rubbish. But listen, the first thing I want to talk about today, guys, is Spurs were feeling a bit left out. And I'll start with you, Stel. Spurs were feeling a bit left out. Everton, they were naughty, got their 5 minutes of fame. Man City have been naughty for apparently a decade. Chelsea, they offered their naughtiness. They went to the FA and went, excuse me, we need to self-report. So, in true fashion, Tottenham Hotspur have managed to find their way into the news over a signing that happened the last time we won a trophy, Stel. What can you tell us, Stel, in your words, about the whole Jermaine Defoe situation? What happened? What's being alleged? And how much trouble are Tottenham Hotspur in?
I think that this is a stick that people just want to beat us with and compare it to what Everton, City and Chelsea have done, right?
Yeah.
So from my understanding, Man City, we don't even know what is going on. There's so many charges. It's so muddy that we're just assuming they're going to be guilty because there's so much that's been thrown at them.
Yeah.
In regards to Chelsea, they've already breached transfer rules in the past and manipulated their academy, which is why they got a 1-year transfer ban when Lampard was manager the first time round. So this isn't anything new, what Chelsea have done. As for Everton, it's because that they were registering such a loss that they broke the sustainability rules of the financials, the envelope in which they must work in. So they've registered something like £300 million worth of losses over the last 3, 4, 5 years, however long it is.
Yeah.
So that's why they've been fined. Why it's a bit harsh on them is because they were working with the Premier League, and the Premier League were working alongside them, and it still happened, and they've been punished like this. So that's nothing compared to what Spurs have done. What we've done is something 15 years ago, which was looked at and brushed to one side, has now resurfaced because apparently there's new evidence that's come to light conveniently.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if
16 years later, there's some new evidence. Yeah.
16 years later, I wonder who found that and planted it or handed it in. I wouldn't be surprised if it was our friends from West London. But It's to do with an agent that wasn't licensed. So it's not that we paid an incorrect amount. It wasn't that we broke any financial rules. It wasn't linked to anything financial like Everton, Chelsea, and City. Ours is we use somebody you're not allowed to use. It's a bit like Apple. Your phone breaks, you've got to go to an authorized Apple reseller. And we've gone to some guy in a market store and we've been cool. That's kind of
I love that. I love
This
that.
is the best analogy I've ever heard.
What we've done isn't that serious. We've just gone to like one of those knockoff little corner shops that sort your mobile phone out. Brilliant. Love it.
20 quid done.
Yeah, we've said, can you fix the phone? You know, can you sort out this transfer? Yeah, we can. So I think if it's found that we are guilty of this and the club were aware that they used an unlicensed agent, although the rules have changed quite a lot. So then I would hope that we get a slap on the wrist and a fine, because we need to be punished as per the rules back then, not what the rules are now.
Right.
And for me, this isn't, if it's found that the agent took payments he wasn't allowed to take, or if there's some kind of financial involved in this, then I think there's actually scope for a bigger charge against us, maybe points as well. But let's be honest, guys. I reckon most clubs have done something like this or more. And I just think that we're just a great... We are the best club in the Premier League to have a news story on because of the banter levels of our club and the way rival fans can't wait to jump on it. So I'm not that worried about it, if I'm honest with you. But I'm not saying that we should just forget about it, because they are looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, Haz, I'll come to you. And just quickly, I'd love to think that Donna Cullen talks like this. I would love to think that Donna Cullen is in the boardroom going, one, Daniel, we need to buy some players. I'd love to think of that. A big up, good evening, Graham. Graham, my point, your next point is what I was going to bring up with Haz. Haz, this was 15, 16 years ago. Like Stella alluded to there, you could probably, if you wanted to, find something from every club. How far do the Premier League go back? Who is in charge of trying to find these things? And at what point does this start getting really, really silly?
Well, I just think it's hot topic at the moment. And that's the issue. Everything going on with Everton, who's just been docked 10 points. We know that something's looming with Manchester City, but then again, we know that's going to take time because of the amount of charges apparently against them, 114, I believe. There's a lot of people talking about, well, why hasn't anyone done anything about that? I think the amount of charges against them at the moment, you'd certainly imagine that's going to take a very long time to put a case together. So that's the reason why that's
especially as they're fighting it, right? Like Everton said, yeah, we're sorry, we're naughty. Man City again, what do you mean? We're innocent. We're fighting.
Yeah, we're innocent. But also Manchester City's got a lot more to lose. They've won multiple cups. They've won the league, etc., etc. But look, I just think, like I said earlier on, it's hot topic at the moment. They're looking back and thinking, right, who's been in trouble? You know, let's go back 20 years. Who's been in trouble with the FA? Who's, breached the rules and stuff? Oh, Tottenham. Tottenham make good news. Let's dig something out on Tottenham. Right, they've used an unlicensed agent to put the deal through. Right, let's resurface that because it's going to make good news. Everything that's going on with Everton at the moment, everything that's going on with Manchester City and maybe imminently with Chelsea, throw Spurs into the mix as well. Well, you got weeks and weeks worth of news there, in my opinion. But my understanding is that Tottenham at the time used an unlicensed agent. I think his name was, I've been looking at it as well, Mitchell.
Is it Portsmouth that used an unlicensed agent or Spurs? I'm not clear on this myself, to be honest with you.
So basically, Mitchell was a former West Ham and Tottenham player, apparently, and he was the central figure in the move. But I believe we used him in that. I think because we bought him from Portsmouth, obviously. I think it was more Portsmouth than us, but we didn't do our due diligence with regards to it. So obviously, when we authorized the transaction, a portion of that money would have went to that agent as well, who was unlicensed. So whether we thought it at the time, whether Levy thought it at the time and said, look, we didn't know, etc., etc., and it was all settled or anything like that, I don't know. But obviously, like you said, you made a really good point, Savva. You know, do we try Spurs according to today's rules, or do we try Spurs according to then rules? Because for me, I think according to the rules back then, they've looked at it and they thought, all right, nothing to answer for, fine. But now the rules have changed 15 years down the line or whatever, right? Oh, actually, they've breached this code. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look what else they've done. Let's have a look at the other deals that have gone through under certain managers. You know, for me, I just think it opens a whole can of worms. Like you said, I think a lot of clubs have done this, but a lot of other clubs don't get the same exposure as Tottenham do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean,
if you was to go around and say, oh, Sheffield United used whatever, it's just like, all right, no big deal, Sheffield United. Spurs done it, right? Tottenham Hotspur, Daniel Levy, you know.
yeah, I mean, Perchy. I mean, isn't the problem here that what we tend to do as football fans is we all lump all of these things in together. So straight away, we were actually in the car when the news broke about Everton being deducted 10 points, and straight away it was funny how the conversation, Perchy, wasn't really about Everton. It was almost like Everton have been banned. Hang on, what about City? And what City did or allegedly have done is very different to what Chelsea are saying they've done. Is very different to what happened to Everton. Is very different to what happened with Jermaine Defoe and that side. Are we in danger here now of just everybody is just trying to get every other club kind of like shamed and banned, and everyone wants everyone to be relegated to like the Isthmian Premier League and all this? Are we in danger of this getting a little bit out of control or a lot out of control?
Oh no, massively. I mean, it's become like, rival fans are, well, this is Spurs now, so look, you got the West Ham lot, the Arsenal, get Spurs relegated for this. I mean, can I just say what I will say?
We might win the league.
It just I don't know how we'll struggle with playoffs. But
might get rid of Levy.
The one thing for me, it just shows how crap international football is this is more important. We care more about the Jermaine Defoe saga going on about an unlicensed thing over England playing in international tournament. It just sums it up. This is a bigger news story than us drawing to Macedonia. I mean, it sums up. I just find what's happening now and what's happening is if Spurs get done for this, it does open a can of worms. And you're right. I think the key bit here is all it does is then Spurs go, do you know what? Let's just find something on Arsenal. They've done something wrong down the line. It just hasn't been unearthed. And then Arsenal go, well, fine, we'll start doing it to West Ham. And then we'll start trying to do it to Man United. And it just becomes pathetic. Like, it's football, right? Like, who cares? Let's be honest. So us signing Jermaine Defoe didn't make the end. It didn't mean that we went and won 6 Premier League titles back to back because of it. Like, who cares?
But playing devil's advocate, yes, maybe not. But what is what you're saying there, that you are allowed to cheat in essence as long as it doesn't mean you win titles?
But no, it's not. It's not about that. The point is if for example, if this was something, let's use a great example. This comes out that we used an unlicensed agent to sign Van der Ven. Fine. Listen, they can do whatever they go. Do you know what? They come up, boom, this is it. You're getting a points deduction or a fine or whatever. Fine. We're talking about 2008 here. How silly does it go? What if someone goes, well, do you know what? Like the signing for Man United to sign Eric Cantona, blah, blah, blah. Well, there was something dodgy going on there. Let's do Man United in with points deduction now. Like, how, like, where does the cutoff become? When does it just become stupid?
Perchy, fans are ridiculous, right? Manchester City are being accused of armed robbery. Spurs are being accused of vandalising a telephone box. Right, both of them relegated.
Yeah. But that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Sorry, has Stel been swallowing his analogies today? Like, I don't know.
Just sitting there thinking about
Spurs stole a Mars bar when they were at school. The only thing I ever stole, by the way, when I was at school was once a Mars bar. How bad is that? I know.
If that's the context of it, Savva, now you're going to get done by the YouTubers now. So the YouTubers are going to go up
when I was about 12
because you stole a Mars bar when you were a kid. This is to bring it back to a bit of seriousness in the sense of it. This is where do we go? Enough is enough. Look, because my point being is all it takes now is other clubs to go, do you know what? Let's just find it. And all what happens is Premier League leagues and stuff get decided in courtrooms. It's not how it works. We're football fans, right? Like, I don't want.
But does it? Let me broaden this conversation then. So obviously we've got the Defoe piece, but obviously when we're talking about this, Man City are in it, Chelsea are in it, Everton are in it. That's what we know of at the moment. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, no one else at the moment is doing anything naughty or hasn't, to our knowledge. How far do you think they go, guys, with disciplinary? Because I was having this chat yesterday on the football terrace. We're having this chat about disciplinary. How far do people go with it? Because look, you get silly fans that are charged that go, "Oh my God, just relegate everybody to the conference and blah blah blah." And one of the points I brought up was, that's all well and good saying that, but what about the human element of it? What about all the employees at Chelsea and Man City that they have, like hundreds, thousands of employees that you just suddenly relegate them to being a conference team? Now they've all lost their jobs. What do you do then? Like the conversation still was about, do you just remove their titles? Do you give them to somebody else? And then it was like, well, hang on. If you give the title to someone else, and the example was, okay, do you give last season's, if Man City are guilty, do you give last season's title to Arsenal? Then the team in fifth are going to say, well, hang on, we should have been fourth then. So we've lost out on Champions League money. Who pays us? It's mad, right? Surely there just needs to be like a 30-point fine and you move on or something.
The rules don't care about the fans. The rules have never been set up about the fans. I'll give you an example. So in my industry, which is below elite level Premier League, if your club is charged and it affects members of your club, then your members will be aware how your club runs its business, and it's down to your members. So in the Premier League case, members being sponsors, fans, staff, it's down to your members to decide, is that the kind of organization you want to stay a part of? So therefore, the rules are designed to allow members to leave and go to another club, which is difficult for fans, but maybe easier for staff. And for players going forward, the players want to now go to that club knowing what they're like. Also, it could force members to demand a change of ownership so that the club is run properly. So the rules don't care about the fans. The rules just care about punishing the entity, the club as a whole, and then change will come off the back of that. What I'll also add is that with Spurs and our situation, I think we also need to look at, I don't really want to say it, but if Harry Redknapp was part of this process, who's got a habit of moving Defoe to whatever club he goes to, you know, that might need to be looked at as well. I think that I personally think this is all happening because
so Stel's just implicated West Ham, Portsmouth, Sunderland, Rangers, like anywhere Jermaine Defoe's played, Charlton when he was a kid, every one of them are going to be looked at.
Listen, I don't want to call him out, but he's got that reputation, right? Nothing's been proven yet, let's say. But I think at the end of the day, this is all happening for one reason only. When we had COVID, I was saying this on Alan's show a couple of days ago. During COVID, do you remember when, I think it was during COVID, Boris Johnson and Parliament were having this big discussion about how government needs to regulate football because it can't regulate itself anymore. And there was this big conversation.
Yeah.
I think the Premier League are trying to be seen as being tough, to send a message to Parliament, we don't need you to intervene. We got this. We can self-regulate. I think they're doing this to get government off their back as well, personally. I think it's a bit of political play.
I see where you're coming with that one, actually. It's a good point, but it's become ridiculous, though. Like, right? Listen, I get it with the whole Man City thing. I get it with the Chelsea thing. Like, Everton held their hands up, said, we messed up. We tried to... Do you know what I mean? They held their hands on what you meant to do there. But like what are we going to do? Like, is everything going to be, why is it getting brought up now is my point. The fact it's been brought up now, just I find it weird. it just doesn't add up.
It's to show that they're coming from a position of strength, Perchy. They're trying to show that, look, we run it, we can run it properly, we will get tough if we have to, we can self-regulate, we can self-govern, and we're not going to let anyone get away from justice. And let's see how long this lasts.
Does anyone believe? I mean, this news, as I said, broke when we were in the car. I think both of us at the time said this will never stay at 10 points. This will probably come down to 4 or 5, which in my theory, I have to be really careful here because so far Chelsea haven't been found guilty of anything yet. Chelsea have gone forward themselves and said, hey, this is what we've done. Man City is saying we haven't done anything, so they're not guilty yet, or might not be. My theory is that this will get down to 4, maybe 5 points for Everton, and then when Chelsea and City are found guilty, they can turn around and go, "Oh well, Everton got 4 or 5 points. We'll give you 10 points," something like that. Is that enough of a deterrent? Because for Everton, 10 points could relegate you. Man City could still win the Premier League title if they're deducted 10 points. So is that a deterrent? Does it need to be relegation if they're found guilty? What does our punishment need to be if we're found guilty? Who's the decider on this?
Well, from looking at it from the outside, I think if you're a big club, then the punishment's going to be not so much detrimental. But if you're a small club, it's going to affect you more. Like you just mentioned, for Everton, 10 points could mean relegation. You know, it could mean life or death. But someone like Manchester City, not so bothered, to be honest. We can still win the league, give away 8, 9, 10 points. It's not a big deal. But for me, the question is, how does it affect, constantly changing how many points teams are docked? How does it affect the other teams? How does it affect the other teams constantly changing points, especially around at the bottom of the table, let's say Luton and Sheffield United, Everton 1 minute, they're 6 points ahead, then they're 10 points behind, etc., etc. Where does that stop? How many points a team is deducted? Like you said, who decides that? So for me, it has a detrimental effect on all the other teams.
So how do you then safeguard this? I.e., again, this is all hypothetical. Man City haven't been found guilty of anything yet. We've got to put that out there, right?
Yeah.
If Man City are found guilty of, it doesn't matter how many charges, they're found guilty, right? What is a punishment that fits a club that have endless money? Like, you can't charge them 100 million. It doesn't do anything. They can pay £100 million fine. What is a punishment that is suitable for a club like Man City?
Personally, for me...
So you go, how's it go? Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just going to say, personally, for me, if a team's not affected financially, then you hit them with, deductions, points deductions. Simple.
But surely there needs to be a level of, in a sense, there's got to be a structure on what punishments what, because Man City can pay off a fine. But my point being, I don't know the answer, by the way, but I'm just spitballing here in the sense of there's got to be a level. So, for example, if it's one count, just one count, you get 2 point deduct. I don't know. Do you know? I'm just sort of getting it. Like, if Man City,
so at the moment you're saying Man City, if it was 2 points, per deduction, if they're found guilty of all 115, that they're going to be charged 300 points or 200.
Well, no, they would get relegated, right?
They'll be moved to the Estonian league.
They'll be playing all my mates who are the over 35 vets on a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
but you can't relegate them. How can you relegate them? Let's look at this obvious.
I don't know the answer.
Perchy, with every charge, there is in the rule book. There is a maximum and a minimum. Look, I've got it here.
I brought notes. I love it.
No, it's the actual. I've got the rule book. The book. Right? At the back, it's got all the charges, and then it's got the minimum fine, minimum punishment, and the maximum punishment. So it's how severe do you want to go with the punishment, right? And it's like someone that gets charged to go to prison. The judge has got the power to do, let's say, 2 years to 5 years, depending on what the charge. Maybe something more severe is from 7 years to 12 years. And then the judge decides what he thinks is fair or she thinks is fair. So with Man City, if they're guilty of loads of them, then it's got to be a massive point deduction, possible relegation, and
Transfer
just like what
ban.
Chelsea had, transfer ban.
Transfer
Right.
ban.
So let me inject my point into here then. And by the way, all I'm doing is playing devil's advocate. All right.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
anyone in the chat, I don't care what happens to Man City. It's not my problem. If you relegate Man City, now think of the ramifications for absolutely everybody else that's not just Man City. One, now we know this could drag on for ages, but let's just assume, just for the hypothetical game, that this goes to court in January and Man City are found guilty and they want to relegate them. One, you can't turn around in January in the middle of a season and say they are relegated next year, because now all their games between now and the end of the season
Obsolete.
are
They
obsolete.
wouldn't, but they wouldn't play them.
Hang on. Right.
Okay,
Okay.
go
Hang on.
ahead.
Let me get to my point. This is it.
Okay.
Now, if they don't play their games, now the league is lopsided and everybody hasn't played the same amount of games and hasn't had the same opportunity as each other. Two, if they go down, if you are one of the best 3 clubs in the championship next year, you are pissed, because now all of a sudden they've taken away. Let's be brutally honest about this. If they go down to the championship, they're winning it. They're winning it easily. They're probably still going to win FA Cups and League Cups while they're down there, and they're coming back up. So you've taken away a promotion spot from somebody that otherwise would get promoted, right? So where does it end? Who does it serve?
Savva, you've
I would
also
disagree with you on
saved
that
the
one.
club. Sorry, Perchy, go on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, because it wouldn't be as simple as that. Yeah, we're thinking of Man City, the football club now. If they get relegated, they've got to deal with different structures and wage caps in the Championship. They're going to have to get rid of the majority of their squad.
Wouldn't. No, they
They
wouldn't.
would. No, they
They
would, because
wouldn't.
there's different wage caps in the Championship compared to the Premier League.
So you think Man City get relegated, and then next summer, let's say this summer, they just turn around and go, right, every single one of our squad is up for sale.
No. They wouldn't sell everyone, but they would get rid of them. There'll be a big bulk that go. Of course, they would be.
I don't think they would.
Let's be frank and honest. The likes of let's just use the key players here. Let's just use them. Is Haaland sticking around in the Championship? Probably not. Is De Bruyne sticking around in the Championship? Probably not. These are players that want to be playing at the Champions League finals.
But when we say, are they sticking around, City still have to sell them.
But they would have to get rid of them.
I don't think they would have to get rid of everyone. The league aren't that stupid.
Everyone.
Right, hang on. But the league are surely not that stupid that they'd say, right, we're relegating you, and now within one summer you have to get rid of all your players, all the wage bill change. They know that's not possible.
But it may not be.
Possible to do.
But it may not be the club. The players will want to go. Is my point. A lot of those players will want to go, and then they'll go.
Guys,
The club, there'll be a fight. The thing is, but also what could also happen, by the way, the other bit we missed out in, they could get relegated with a points deduction, by the way. They could get a 20 points deduction and get relegated as well. There's all different caveats.
What about the manager?
Do that to a team.
What-
you can't. Hang on. Sorry.
It happened before. I've seen it.
What? So right.
So
you're
Rangers
going-
got relegated 3 divisions. Sam.
Hang on, but that's not what Perchy said. You think they could get relegated to the Championship plus start next season with like a minus 20?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Listen,
So,
I know it.
isn't that dumb?
Before people,
Hang on,
people say it's a different rule. No, but Juventus
That's double
Happened to
jeopardy.
Juventus, actually. I think that happened to
But it happened to Juventus. I know it's a different reason, but it happened to them. Yeah. By the way, no.
It depends because
I think it's going to happen to Man
is a
City.
European
No,
rule.
Can it happen?
FFP is a European rule, not an FA rule.
Yeah.
So let's assume right, let's assume Man City go down and they lose 7 to 10 players. Are they still not just flying up out the Championship? Like I can't imagine that they're going to lose that many players that they don't win every single game in the Championship, even with a 20-point deduction. Like, my point to this all is, if they come back up immediately after that, what was the actual ramification for them 1 year in the Championship?
Yeah, but I mean, how else would you do it? How else? What, you'd put them 2-3 leagues down? You
No,
know,
I wouldn't move him down at all. For me, I'd give him a 5-year transfer ban.
I mean,
But
transfer ban.
Well, that can happen equally, but that would be even more mental.
You can't do. But why is that more mental?
Yeah,
Why
but
is
if you
that
give
more
him
mental?
A 5-year transfer ban. Think about
why
that.
not?
Like, but
let's put it this way, right?
Majority of players don't last 5 years into a club nowadays.
Chelsea have just signed shed loads of players, right, on 10-year contracts this summer.
Yeah.
You know, why have they done that? Why have they signed players on 10-year contracts? Who's asked themselves that question?
Well, we know it's to spread it.
What other club have you seen? Whatever. Okay, we're all going under that guise of it's to spread the cost. But what other club have you seen sign players on a 10-year contract? Hold on a minute.
That's not the point.
Daniel Levy?
That's different.
Wait. Do you not think Daniel Levy would have been all over that like a fly on crap? All right, if he knew that he would save a bit of money.
He did.
Hang on. But the difference is Daniel Levy's not signing players regularly at 80, 90, 100 million pounds, is he?
I was going to say he was doing that with the likes of Ndombele. That's why he's still here.
He would do it on players that only cost 20 million.
You can't do that anymore. They change the rules. You're not allowed. It's 5 years.
Exactly.
So I'll ask the question again. Has, if I turn around and said, by the way, guys, I'm just going to throw loads of different things at you here. If I turned around and said, right, Man City, naughty Man City, you cannot buy a player for the next 5 seasons. Doesn't that hurt them more than putting them down a league for 1 year that they're just going to bounce back up and probably win the Premier League the year after? Like, doesn't it? Yeah. Doesn't that hurt them more? The fact that then everything they do, like, Stel, you know this from the coaching setup, then all of a sudden what it means is, all of our young players have to play for the next 5 years.
Listen, the point I was going to add to what Perchy said is that Pep Guardiola, on record, a couple of years ago, I think, when this first began to become an issue, and the case they got away from because they delayed it so long that the case expired. Pep Guardiola on Sky Sports said, "I've asked the owners whether we are run properly. I've asked the owners if the charges are not true, and they've given me their authority that we are run properly.
Yeah.
If it's proven otherwise, he suggested this isn't the kind of club I want to be a part of. So if they are charged, Pep's walking if he's a man of his word. Yeah. And on top of that, if you go down a division, transfer ban or no transfer ban, you now do not generate the same income as a Premier League club does, and they're going to have to follow the rules, which means the following season, you can't spend as much as you normally can because you don't have that same buffer of spending. The one thing about Spurs is we've got we can spend £400 million without breaking any rules. The problem is we don't spend it. City, though, if they go down for one season and then they come back up, that year of income hurts what they can and can't do the following year. So there is if they go down, punishment of being relegated as well.
But let's be honest, still, if they go down, right? Yeah. Be honest with me. If they go down, they're coming back up, right? Let's be brutally honest. If they go down 1 year, they're coming back up.
It depends who stays and if there's a transfer ban as well. But probably yes.
Even if there's a transfer ban, let's look at it. Even if there's a transfer ban, right? Look at the players they've got. They could lose Haaland, De Bruyne, Rodri. They still got so much quality there. Julian Alvarez, right, is going to score 50 goals in the Championship in the season. Right? Rico, okay, right. So that's my point. If they then come back up, all right, year one, they can't spend loads of money, but they'll still have a good enough squad that they can go against. So my point is, what's the real deterrent here?
But Savva, they will have
dropping them a year.
Yeah, but Savva, it is because that 1 year down of not playing Premier League and not having the income, then when they come back up, they won't be able to spend the way they want. At that point, they would have had a taste.
For the first year, they won't. Still, for the first year.
Yeah, but hear me out. But they would have been given a taste of what it's like to break the rules. So what you're now doing is saying to them, you're not going to break those rules again, are you, Man City? And they probably won't. And that begins to level it out.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. I'm just trying to find different ways to bait this in theory.
I think there could be I just think even things like that, banning him from European football for X amount of time,
that's banning him because players won't go to them then. If there's no,
And that's
so
what I'm
no
saying.
European
You
football,
ban that. You ban them from European football for, I don't know. Let's just say 5 years. I don't know. I'm just
that will hurt.
throwing it out there. Ban them.
100%.
That will hurt some. That hurts. Do you know what? That hurts them more than relegating them. Because you ban them from European football. Do you know what I mean? They lose out massively on the revenues of Champions League. They lose out a lot.
They won.
They lose out.
200 million they got.
And what Stel's saying is bang on. Now they will be under the microscope. They have to stay by the rules to the T because they can't fall short of it again. And this is the key bit.
Sure, but do we know? Do we know though? Like, I feel like we're all talking as though we know what they've done is that severe, right? Is it? I don't think anyone can actually answer this definitively. We don't know that it's actually that severe that it was the difference between them
there's
winning.
115. There's 118 charges. The last
Yeah,
time
but if you actually look at what those charges are, it's not like it's not like all 118 are huge. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I know, but it's by numbers though, isn't it? It's the sheer volume of it. Because if you're doing something, say you're a thief, right, and you've done it once or twice, fine. You're going to get a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. Blah blah blah. If you're doing it 118 times, like if you're going into Sainsbury's, whatever, stealing something 118 times, you're going to get banged up. You're going to go to prison for a little while, right? And that's the same analogy that I can use here. If you keep on doing the same things consistently, whatever these 118 charges are, you've consistently done it over and over and over and over again with disregard.
Yep.
And that's the issue. Yeah. It's not about, for me, okay, look, Juventus, as an example, right? They got relegated because it was to do with referees, this, that, and the other, influencing games. It was big things, right? And for that, they got relegated, right? These lot, 118 charges, like you said, they might be small, but it's, repeatedly doing it over and over again without disregard. So for me, look, either way,
they're not all small. They're not all small, Has.
All right, well,
I'm just financial accounting irregularities,
okay,
like basically cooking the books.
I'm just saying, Savva's saying they might not be big. I'm just saying if it's sheer numbers, right? Even if it's small, the sheer number of it makes it serious. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Now, for me, it can work two ways, right? If you relegate them into Division 1 Championship or whatever, they lose the prestige of the Premier League. They lose the prestige of playing amongst the best players in the world, this, that, and the other. Revenue, advertising, this, that, and the other. A lot of companies stand to lose a lot of money, media companies, because they drop out.
Which is why they would
lose. They would lose a lot of business, right? A lot of people are saying, no way Chelsea can be relegated. No way Man City can be relegated. It's happened with Juventus, biggest team in Italy.
Yeah, but what Juventus did was very, very, very different. What Juventus did.
But it shows that it can happen.
Yeah, it can. Listen, I just personally, whatever I think should happen, I personally don't think there's any way on earth that they relegate Man City and Chelsea because of what they bring to the league. Because of sponsorships, because of endorsements, because I don't think there's any way they do. That's just me. I think what they'll do, if anything, is whack a massive points and a massive transfer ban sanction on them. And let's be brutally honest, if they gave City a 30-point deduction, what's it mean? Oh, they're not going to win the league for 1 year. They'll take that, right?
What we're looking at here is, do you deserve to be playing in the best league in the world? Because Premier League is the best league in the world. We all say it, right?
I don't know, but go on.
No, but everyone says Premier League. Okay, but everyone's views are different. But most people would say Premier League is the biggest league in the world, biggest and best, right? My issue is, do you deserve to be playing in the Premier League? Do you deserve that, that prestige of playing in the Premier League? Like, look, if you bring up Uphill Gardner, 843, 118 charges tells you they didn't care about any rules, big or small. 100%. If you're doing it this many times,
let's be clear though.
If you're still in the league,
they've not been found guilty yet. We've got to be very clear on that. They've not been found. We're saying 118 charges. They've not been found guilty yet. I think what will happen is, I reckon nearly 100 and 105, whatever, will be swept under the carpet. I reckon they'll all go, and then I reckon they'll agree to a massive points deduction. Because let's be fair, if offered, still, I'll ask you, if you're Man City right now and you're offered, right, you're going to get a 1-year transfer ban and you can't buy anyone for 365 days or 2 windows, and you're going to get 30-point deduction, which means that for this year, you won't win the league, you won't make they probably mathematically could, but you won't make Champions League football next year, and you're not going to win the league this year, and you can't buy any players. Would you take that if you're Man City?
What's the
Something a lot more.
Well, like relegation.
But no, but I'm talking about, like, if a deal is offered, if they say, listen, if you admit this charge, but you know how it all works. Because I think they'd take that.
Agree out of court, basically.
I think it depends what the if I say no, I don't take that. What's the alternative? If it's relegation, you take it because it means you stay in the Premier League. You take that.
Yeah.
If it's relegation, that's probably the worst thing that could happen to a club. If it's what you suggested, or £100 million fine, something insane, you probably take what you said because that's a hell of a lot of money. If it's 20 million, all right, I'll pay the 20 million. So I think it depends what the alternatives are. But I honestly believe if Man City are guilty, I think they're going to throw the absolute book at them, Savva.
Do you?
I agree.
I
agree.
I think they're going to make a massive example.
Okay, so let me come back on that.
Everton wants to test the water. Everton wants to test the water.
But hang on, let me come back on that. I'll tell you what is, if we're talking about crime, Stel, what is a crime is there's 238 people in here and 70 likes. Now that's a crime. That's a crime against YouTube channels. So before we discuss more crime for
relegate the audience.
We'll relegate the audience.
Yeah, you're all going down.
You're all going to the Isthmian Premier League. Look, I see where I disagree with that, right, is I truly believe that Man City, I'll talk about Chelsea as well because they're going to be in trouble. I think Man City and Chelsea are both too valuable to the league, and we know how corrupt everything is and how it's all run by the people with the most money and the Saudis and these sponsors and that sponsors.
Then Everton will take the Premier League to court.
But Everton haven't been relegated.
No, but okay, right. So you're saying
Everton haven't been relegated.
So you're saying if it's a relegation and not 20 points, you're saying that won't happen. So you think it's going to be a big points deduction then? That's kind of where
I just don't think. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really care. It's not my club unless they relegate us for Jermaine Defoe, right? Even then, I'll be quite happy. We might win a lot of games next year and win a league, right? It's not my club. I don't care. I just can't see in any way they turn around to two of the biggest clubs in this country and go, you're relegated. I just don't believe they've got it in them. I don't believe they would for financial reasons. It's all corrupt. I can't see it.
But just to sort of go back to the point about Everton, if for example, if Everton will sit there, I'm just spitballing it. Man City get a 20-point deduction. That doesn't relegate them. Everton will be sitting there going, hang on a minute, you've given us 10 points for making a mistake here, yet they've got all of these charges. And as you say, you're right, some will probably go and it won't be as many as 118 or whatever, but they get a 20-point deduction. So basically what you're saying is we're better off just breaking the rules to get a 20-point deduction instead of making a mistake, an honest mistake, which we held our hands up and made.
But the thing is, Perchy, Everton won't end up with 10 points. We know that.
No,
right?
I'm not. I'm just saying as of now.
I reckon Everton's punishment comes down to maybe a win and a draw in the league. I think that's what it comes down to. My point that I was making to Stel there was there's a difference between saying you've got a points ban and that keeps you in the league and, hey, you're relegated. If you're relegated because of the points ban, different story, but not you're just outright relegated. I just don't believe. I know you really think they will. I don't believe they've got it in them.
So technically,
but what if Everton do get relegated because of these points deductions? What if they do? That's the difference, right? Then it changes it, doesn't it? Right? Because let's be frank.
Well, it does, but then that's down to how bad they are.
Right, but because we're now saying about how good Man City are, because they, as I said, from what we believe, they may have broken the rules. They're that good because they've broken the rules. It basically says, do you know what, guys? As long as we just break all the rules, we will get to where we are, and then we'll get in trouble for 1 year. what's the deterrent? We might as well just all Daniel Levy might as well go and break all the rules then.
Okay, but that's my point. I don't even think it's just me. It's only me.
I don't think
it's a deterrent to send them down. I think if you send them down, they're back in a year. That's just...
You're saying that, Perchy. You say Daniel Levy might as well go and break all the rules. We're being investigated for something from 15 years ago.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we've got our own problems. Yeah, true.
If you know what I love,
Spursy, if we actually got 15 points stocked or something like that, you know.
Especially after
after
the speech Daniel Levy gave us of, we're running it the right way. So when the FFP rule comes in, we're going to be the best club in England.
Yeah.
We're going to be number one. It'll be 3 more years.
How Spursy would it be if we got a bigger points deduction for the Jermaine Defoe thing than Man City did? That would be the Spursiest thing ever.
The thing is, I'll ask you this: would anyone be surprised? This is the last bit on the Man City Chelsea bit. Would anyone be surprised if all of it does go away?
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, I honestly could see it being a fine. I can honestly see it being all right, it wasn't as bad as we thought. You need to pay 50 million or something. That's what I reckon it will go away.
The Everton punishment changed the whole game.
Yeah, but the thing is what we've got to remember here, like I get what you're saying, Stel, here, but there's differences. Everton held their hands up and said we've done something wrong. Man City is saying we've done everything by the book.
Yeah.
Whether at the moment, whether we like it or
not.
Chelsea
have held up their hands as well, though, Perchy.
Yeah, but Man City haven't.
Man
City have said we've done everything by the book. We will bring it all out to you. We'll put it all out on the table. We've done nothing wrong. So I get what everyone thinks, because everyone sees a massive number like 118 and they go, "Oh my days, they've done something wrong." They'll go. They at the moment will bring they've got the Man City squad of lawyers in the back thing that just all walk in as a squad, all with their little Man City crests on, and then they just sit there and go on then. But this is the thing: at the moment, Man City, from their perspective, we've done nothing wrong. So what Sam is saying is very likely to happen.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you go on. Has, can you explain this to us? Because you've worked, I don't know if you still do, you've worked part of the police force. You don't charge someone unless you are super confident that you can get a guilty verdict after it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to prove it to get the charge, I suppose, at the end of the day. But yeah, you got to get the facts there. You can't just put someone in front of a judge and jury if you haven't got the facts in front of you. You need hard evidence, obviously, unless you've got a jury who then decide, in all likelihood, were they guilty of this crime or not.
So, Has, if you nicked me, right, and you said, right, I'm charging you with 115 criminal activities, you're pretty confident you've got a bit of evidence that can prove that, right? Otherwise, why are you charging me?
And also, this is what I was going to say, right? 115 or whatever it is, all right? It's no coincidence that Everton's already been docked points, right, for something far less, let's be honest. And Man City's still taking this long to get through the door, right? It's 115 charges. It's not like, one or two, yeah, we've investigated it. This is what's going to happen.
It's a bigger case.
Right? It's 115 charges. They need to put all of these things together and then present the case to whoever they're going to present it to. Right. Number one, this. Number two, this. Number three, how do you respond to that? Obviously, Man City's got to respond to all of these as well. It's not just like saying, yep, all 115 we didn't do. We've done everything by the books. They've got to account for each and every one of these things if it is this many charges. You understand?
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. And this is why when you just get football fans going, oh, it's not fair. Everton have been found guilty. City haven't. It's like, yeah, because one's done one. Well, one's was charged with one count, the other one's charged with 115. I guess it's the same as if you're doing a murder case versus doing a serial killer case. Do you know what I mean? One's going to be long drawn out. I'm not saying it's about killings, but you know what I mean. I just truly believe, man, if Man City are saying the same as to Stel's point, if Man City are saying, Stel, that we're fighting it, we believe we're innocent, right? Could it not be, I don't know, hypothetical, could it not be that there's just miscommunication somewhere? Could it not be that some paperwork's not being presented to show this and that? Could it be that they're not guilty?
of course it could be they're not guilty because, like we've said, we've got to wait for it to be proven and a guilty verdict's given. So the answer is yes. But like I was saying to Haas, when there's that many charges, if Man City win all of these cases, all of these charges, that makes the governing body of football look absolutely incompetent beyond all recognition. That says you don't even know your own rules that you've charged them with, that you've alleged that they broke. You don't even know the rules that you write. So I don't see how City get away with this, unless there is a next tier of corruption that we haven't seen yet about to come. But I don't know. I think as soon as they charged Everton, I think that opened a can of worms. I think that's just the floodgates are open now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys, listen, I want to go on, Perchy. Go on, mate.
No, I would just say on one thing, just to sort of round it all off. Doesn't this just prove how boring international football is? We've spent an hour talking about all of this. It just says it all, doesn't it?
No one needed to prove that. We know already.
Yeah, I mean, because one of the things before we got onto the Villa game, one of the things we did want to talk about was kind of backing onto this. I love that Stel's got JP's picture and now a different one. That was something that you sent over earlier, Has. And by the way, sorry, before I start that, guys and girls, come on. We are embarrassing for likes lately. 95 likes. We should be on 150 likes by now. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. The link is in the chat. We are only 9 away from 11,900. We've been that away for about 5 days now. So please, you come in and watch us. You must like what we do. So please do smash this link here and subscribe. Something that you sent over this morning, which is a really good talking point, Haas, and it kind of backs on from what we've been saying, is Gary Neville said this. He said the trust and faith has gone completely. The greed and selfishness is out of control. The Premier League is a defunct organisation. Now, obviously, a lot of that is going to be to do with what we've just discussed with FFP, etc. But it's deeper than that, isn't it? The whole of the Premier League that people call the best league. You said just now the best league. For me, I think it's turning into very quickly. I think it's turning into one of the worst leagues for those very reasons that Gary Neville has said. You wanted to bring that up. You wanted this to be the topic. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just think, look, from where we started back in 92 when the Premier League was formed, it was just more pure, wasn't it? We wanted a league where we had the best of the best teams competing with each other, the best players and everything else. I think European football has played its part in it as well. Everyone wants to come to the Premier League. They want to play in European competitions, this, that, and the other. I just think with also media companies coming in, the greed of media companies and everything else, I think it's just making a mockery out of the league. It's just being used from pillar to post. Agents. I mean, look, you just got to look at agent fees alone, how much these agents are earning on a daily, monthly, yearly basis. Is unreal. You never heard of that back in the day. You never heard of that, in the old Division 1 before the Premier League, or when the Premier League was first, introduced. It was just good old football back in the day, and that was it. We never had all this drama. We never even had drama of VAR or anything like that. It was just a referee, 22 men on the pitch, and that was it. Yeah. Look at where we are now. FFP. It's so bad that FFP has had to, it has to be brought in to control things because you've got all these foreign investors coming in. You've got the Qataris, the Saudis, the Russians, you name it. People are coming in because they can make a few bob out of our clubs. Yeah. Whatever we want to say at the end of the day, and this is what I will give credit to Daniel Levy, is that he, Look, I'll give him credit. I don't want, I don't want Levy at the club. All right, let's not make no bones about that. I'm a strong advocate that he's had 23 years in charge, and he's failed the club in many ways. Okay.
Yep.
But one thing we haven't done is surrendered the club to the likes of the Saudis, the Russians, or whoever it is at the time. I'm not saying he's squeaky clean because we're being investigated as well. But we haven't allowed the club to be used, like a cash cow for these people to earn money off,
Haven't we?
Well, debate me.
No,
I
I will. Haven't we? I mean, surely we're just going about it in a different way. If we're going to talk about greed and like whether they're from Saudi or America, wherever they're from, I don't care their nationality, wherever the owners are from. But isn't that exactly what Levy and ENIC are doing with the stadium and with the NFL and with the concert? Aren't we doing it, but in a different way? Isn't the difference that the other clubs are doing it to try and win tournaments? We're doing it to try and be this wonderfully run business making money while signing Jermaine Defoe illegally. That last bit was a joke. Isn't it the same? Like, aren't we doing the same thing?
Yeah, well, listen, I think you could argue it to a certain extent. I just think where priority...
Are we doing it?
Well,
sorry, go on, Perchy.
No. I was just going to say, where's the priorities at Tottenham? Like, and that's the key bit. I think that's the key bit all the time. What are the priorities at Tottenham? Are the priorities at Tottenham to be the best football team in the country? Whereas, listen, we've just spoken a lot about Man City. Whereas with Man City, whether or not they broke the rules or not, or whatever, we can ignore that for a moment. Their aim was to be the best team in the country, and now they're the best team in the world. I get what Savva was trying to get there in the sense of we're doing the same, but we're trying to raise money. But what we do is we put the pile over there of money, and then we
Perchy, if it wasn't about greed, right? If we like I hear this argument all the time, and it's we run so well, and we're so happy with Daniel Levy because financially we're so well off. If it wasn't about greed for Daniel Levy and for ENIC, right? Surely we would have stayed at White Hart Lane and just continued to function the way we're functioning. Of course, it's about greed, right? The stadium, if it's not for greed, I'm not saying, listen, all of these businesses, by the way, I'm not like, why does Facebook keep buying up all the other companies? Greed. Why do iPhone keep bringing out a phone every 8 days or whatever it is they bring one out? Greed, right? Why do they keep changing their adapters that you need to? Greed. I'm not saying this is only Tottenham, this is everyone. But I hate it when it's suddenly chucked in that, we're squeaky clean. We're different from the others. Saudi money's ruining this. I would argue that almost at least those owners are coming in and ploughing it into sport. Our owners are ploughing all our money or loans, whatever, into building a global machine, not on the football pitch. So aren't we doing it for greed as well, Has? Aren't we doing it for greed?
Yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is, at least, like, I'll give you Roman Abramovich as an example, the shadiness that was going on there, what was going on behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he invested a lot of money in the football club to win trophies and everything else. But what I'm saying is with Levy and everyone, they made their intentions known what they wanted to do. It was plain for everyone to see that they wanted to build this, that, and the other. Do I agree with it? Hell no, I don't agree with it. I always want the club to come first. I always want the money invested in the club first and foremost. The club comes first for me. So,
but
what I'm saying is,
no, I just want to flip something on what you said when you used Chelsea's example as Chelsea going for greed. If anything, it was the opposite. There was no greed in it. Roman Abramovich was ploughing his money into it, so Chelsea won it all. When we say greed, it wasn't about making money with Chelsea. It was about winning trophies. You could argue the flip side with Man City. It's not about greed. They're using their money to go, do you know what? We're going to win every freaking trophy possible.
Yeah. While Daniel Levy's using the bank's money to build and
he's the highest paid owner in the Premier League, right, by a country mile. So
Spurs are the worst club in the Premier League.
Spurs, it's all about greed. Whereas the others, that's the thing. Because when we use the term greed, I get it from a collective thing. But if we use Man City and Chelsea, they're the ones that we want to talk about here at the moment. But they plough the money into the club to win everything. We don't. We do the opposite. We try and get all the money in and keep a hold of it.
I'll tell you what, Stel, let me bring you. This is a good point, isn't it? The way that we talk about greed, the way that we talk about owners coming in and ruining the league, the way we talk about all these different. Listen, the whole league for me is messed up. I do agree with the sentiment. I think Gary Neville's a bit of a hypocrite. By the way, I don't think he minded when he was at Man United and it was all going well and they were winning everything in sight. But put that aside, we're talking about greed still as though like none of the other clubs are getting it. We talk about it with City and Chelsea because they've won everything for the last decade, 2 decades, right? Just because Spurs have been unsuccessful, if we're going to bring Spurs into this, Everton, look at the amount of money Everton spend to be that unsuccessful. Look at the amount of money Arsenal have been spending to not be successful. Aren't they all greed? Isn't it all greed from everyone, no matter which way you spin it out?
When you say greedy, you talk about the owners specifically. They're being greedy.
The whole thing. Like, listen, everything: players' wages, agents' fees, the owners, ticket prices. I mean, it's like 95 quid for a Coke now at the Spurs ground or something. You know, so like, isn't the whole thing greed? Like, last thing I'll say to you, Stel, before you answer, our owners, we've got the highest ticket prices in the country.
Yeah.
If that's not greed, I don't know what is. So isn't everybody just this dirty, greedy machine?
So I guess, is it greed? If you're a capitalist, right? If you believe in capitalism, which I do, by the way, then it's not greed. These are the rules you're operating in. You're allowed to make as much money as you can as long as people are prepared to pay it. Is it greedy that fans decide to pack out the stadium every single season and pay these prices? That's not on the owners, that's on the fans. Is it greedy that fans want to roadblock the club shop so they can pay 100 quid for a replica Spurs jersey? No, that's the fans' choice. So as long as fans are prepared to pay it, it's not greed. The owners are giving the fans what they want. You want to pay 100 quid? I'll give it to you. You want to pay £95 to watch your team lose and not win trophies? I'll give it to you. At the end of the day, the customer is the one who decides. So I hear what you're saying and I hear where you're coming from. I don't think it's greed. I think that this is capitalism. Where I think there's a moral issue here is you're preying on the loyalty of people that can't really go elsewhere. So Sainsbury's, who are kind of the middle of the road supermarket, if you're going to Sainsbury's, beetroot now down to 29p, Aldi price match. So they're matching Aldi, the cheaper one. So that's proper competition, because they know that if they keep putting prices up, do you know what? I love you, Sainsbury's, but I'm going to go Aldi.
Yeah.
I can't afford this.
But I don't support you.
I don't support you. I support Sainsbury's, but I, Perchy, Has, we're not going to go down the road to West Ham because they're cheaper. We're not going to go to lower league football because we're used to a high level of excitement. So it's kind of, the fans need protection. There needs to be rules in place to protect the fans because our loyalty's been abused. That's the bit where I would say, do you know what? That is greedy, because as customers, what the hell are we supposed to do? Some people say, well, don't go to the games. Yeah, but then I've got to pay £70 a month to watch it on Sky. So now what? I'm still forking out money. Don't buy the merchandise. I don't. Don't do this. I don't. Don't do that. Well, now I'm not really a supporter anymore. So,
okay. So everyone,
difficult.
what is Gary Neville talking about here then? What is, when he's saying the greed and the selfishness is out of control? Because I've been on a lot of streams lately. I know you probably wouldn't ever think that of me, but I've been on a lot of streams lately. And one of the things that I've said, I don't understand what they do, just to kind of restructure football, to bring it back to a point where there's some sensibility in it, is if you want it to be fair, from a transfer window perspective, if you want it to be fair, say every club's allowed to spend the same amount of money every window. If you want it to be fair, say, okay, you can spend, whatever you spend, you must bring in 50% of that each window. Not, we're going to look at this over 3 years to see how your books. Like, why don't we do anything like that? Why don't we have the most you can buy a player for is I'm just spitballing, 75 million pounds, right? Why don't we have the most you can pay a footballer is 150 grand a week?
Do you know what should happen? Do you know what should happen? They should the American system put a salary cap in place. Every club has to pay. There's a limit on how much salary you can spend, and it's relative to the league that you're in. So it can't be blanket across Europe, because the Premier League clubs, we generate more money than most European clubs, so we've got to be able to spend more on salaries. But what you can't have is.
But why? I refute that. Why?
No,
because
what
it does is it stops. Like, so then, okay, let's say Spurs want Willian and Chelsea want Willian, and then Willian says, "Do you know what? I'm going to go Chelsea because they're going to offer me 300 grand a week, where Spurs, they will not break the wage structure because they're self-sustainable. Spurs are only pay me 150. So I think when you do that, you get what happens in American football, where you actually get good players going to all clubs, and it balances it. It makes it a bit more of a level playing field.
That wasn't what that isn't what I was finding fault with. What I was finding fault with was but other leagues we have to pay, we have to pay more because the other. Isn't that why our league is the way it is? Because we just chuck ridiculous amounts of money at it where the other leagues don't.
Yeah, but Savvy, this is the problem here. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't put the worms back in the can.
Why not? Why?
Because now everyone is spending that sort of money across Europe now. My point being, all it now does is if we go, well, now the Premier League, it only works if everyone does it.
Then UEFA put it in. Then UEFA put it in.
But it won't work now. Like, because what it does is it is the market is at this point because of where it's gone. The market's gone like that. If you just say to the market to go back down here and we're all sticking here, well, all the people that have just gone and spent X amount of money on players are going to go, hang on a minute. Whoa. No, I'm not doing that. I've just bought a £125 million asset. And now you're telling me that we can't spend any more than £70 million on a player. Hang on, I'm not doing that. I've just spent £125 million on that.
Okay, so where's it end then? We just keep going.
It doesn't end.
You don't do it now.
It won't end. It's not going to end.
Perchy, you don't do it now. What you say is, we're bringing this rule into play in year 27. You've now got 4 years to get yourselves in order and comply.
Yes, absolutely. Regulate it. Yeah, so imagine I said to you guys, right? Listen, by the way, the numbers can change. These are just silly numbers I'm throwing up. Imagine I said, okay, so it's 2023. So for the start of the 2027 season, 27-28 season, what's that? You've got 3 more seasons. Is that right? You have 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27. No, because we're in one already. We're in one. So I was counting this one. Yeah, sorry. No, you've got 3 more seasons where you got 3 more summer transfer windows, right? And they put in the rules, right? By that time, just so you know, the most that you'll be able to buy and sell players for will be 75 million. The most expensive player can be 75 million. The most wages you can pay 21 is going to be 200 grand a week is the most. That's the most, right? Bearing in mind, 200 grand a week these days isn't like Spurs could afford 200 grand a week these days. So this isn't just Man Cities and Chelseas that can pay it, right? Now, as Stel said, that then gives everybody, that's 3.5 years from now to turn around and say, okay, we've now got to start thinking about what we're going to do. We can't now, for the next 3 years, just go and buy loads and loads of players at 100, 150 million and put them on great big salaries. What you can do is say anybody that creeps into that, so anybody that's got a 4 or 5 year deal right now, if they creep into that, their salary will be at that. But any other player that moves, their top salary can be this. That then makes all the leagues more level, because all this talk of, the Premier League's the best. I don't think, A, the Premier League isn't the best. B, the Premier League is a mess. I think the Premier League is an absolute mess at the moment.
It's the Man City League. It's the Man City League.
Well, it is the Man City League, but equally, we've got teams that aren't even winning titles paying £150 million for footballers, right? We've got players that are moving from club to club that have got 1 year's experience in the game, right? And going for 150, 160 million. At what point do they cap that?
Yeah,
it's mental.
Sorry, Has, just 1 second. But the thing is, for me, where does it end? And the reason why I say it, where down the line does it end? Because clubs will just be sat there, rich as everything, because they're getting a load of money from the TV rights, so they'll be able to have all the money sat there and go, well, we can't spend it. We'll just keep a hold of that now. We'll just keep hold of the money. Because where does it end? Does it go all the way back to the? Because it only.
But
works
that's not
if it goes back
true.
to the-
That's not true.
Of course it
Perchy.
does.
So hang on.
Do you
hang
know
on.
how much money?
So you
how
think
much money
you
each player
think
is
that all
getting
these
in
football
Premier
clubs right now? Yeah, you think all these football
Yeah.
clubs right now that are getting their money from the Premier League and the TV rights? Look how
Yeah.
many of them are in debt. That's what. Look how many of them. This is the point with FFP. Do you not think if they got that money, how much money do you think they're getting every year?
Well, the team
Why-
that finishes bottom of the league gets over
Right.
£100 million.
Okay, right. Okay, so now that £100 million, I'm saying to you, the maximum you can spend every window, for example, is £100 million.
Right.
Yeah, but Savva, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But what the point I was making is, we can't. Our financials, our maximum on wages or our maximum on transfers can't be the same as every league in Europe. The reason is, as a league, the UK is one of the highest places for cost of living. So naturally, you need more if you want to buy a nice house, nice car, and all that here than compared to some other countries. Secondly, if the Premier League is to remain this global league that has the most viewers, you still need to be able to attract the best players here. Otherwise, they'll end up going to other leagues. So what the Premier League has to do, in my view, is...
What's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with it is it will...
And by the way, are all the best players are all the best players over here? Like we talk like they're all over here. There's great players all
Not
over
all
the
of
world.
them, but you've got a good chunk of them.
I don't think we have.
No, but
Have
Savva,
we?
if you go back before the Premier League, we weren't attracting the Cantonas, the Henrys, the Agueros. We weren't attracting them. The Premier League has brought them to us because owners have bought clubs thinking this is actually a good investment going forward. So they've got more money to invest to bring in these players because they know there's more money coming in from the Premier League.
Yeah.
So what I think needs to happen is the Premier League needs to find a balance between capping transfers and capping salaries, but still remain competitive against the European leagues. If they can find that, then we're still competitive compared to European countries, but we've also balanced out our league, which is the problem.
Sure. Okay. Even if they're not all exactly the same still, I just think there needs to be like, we talk in absolutes. I hear so many football fans go, the Premier League's the best league in the world.
It's the most entertaining.
It's the most entertaining because it's marketed so much.
Yeah,
and there's so much money in it.
I agree with that. It's the most marketed league. It's the best marketed league.
But what my worry...
But anyone can be anyone in the Premier League. It's not the same in other leagues.
Same as in every... No, I'm not having that. Same as in every other league.
Yeah, but it happens more often in our league, doesn't it?
What happens more often?
Apparently, the Premier League's the only league where you get upsets. Like it's just
no. It happens in Spain all the time.
No, I never said that. I said in the Premier League, anyone can be anyone.
Same as in any other league. Same as in any other league.
Anyone can be
happen
anyone.
as much in those.
Yes,
leagues.
it does.
No.
I'll ask you a question.
Does.
All right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask you a question. Right. I'm going to look at the Premier League table right now. Okay. Premier League table. How many games have Man City lost this season?
I think
2.
How many have Liverpool lost?
2.
Liverpool lost 1 game.
3.
Arsenal.
1.
Tottenham.
2.
2.
That's our top 4. So how many everyone can beat everyone's are there? No one's really beating anyone. Let's be brutally honest. These teams are flying through, picking off all the smaller teams. I watch La Liga. I see Barcelona drawing with very poor teams, losing to poor teams. Real Madrid do it. Right, Atletico Madrid do it.
Barca's not the Barca of old though. They're going for a big.
They won the league last season, mate.
But they're the league. They're the league.
Here,
it's either Barca or Real Madrid though. There's only 2 teams that win it over there.
Hang on. If we're gonna do this, who wins it over here?
Yeah, right now it's Man City. You're right, but it's always been Real Madrid and Barca over there. Always. Here it has.
Okay, what about Atletico Madrid have won the league since I've been watching them. Deportivo La Coruña have won the league since I've been watching it.
You're going back like 25 years now. Deportivo La Coruña.
Yeah, but the thing is, still, I reckon if I went back the last 30 years to see how many people have won the Premier League, how many teams have won the Spanish league, I bet you it's neck and neck. This theory that sorry, but hang on. This theory, I hear this all the time.
We're going off subject a minute here. 1 minute. But the point I'm making is
that's fine.
I believe that the Premier League, the reason people watch it so much, yes, it's marketed, but I also think that more teams can beat other teams than
I just
any
don't
other
think
league.
that's true.
When-
I don't
when
think that's true.
Okay, Sam, I'll give you an example. You see England, we're the only league that's got the Big Six. The only league.
But only we christened it a Big Six. We by the way,
made it.
we christened it. In other leagues, they don't talk about our Big Six. They talk about Man City.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
We christened it a Big Six.
Yeah, but in our league, any of those six can finish in the top 4 or the top 3 at any moment. Even Spurs have done it a couple of times. We've come second or third. Even we've done it, right? That's why we're in that Big Six. When you go to Italy, literally there's 3 teams and that is it.
No.
Holland,
Do you know what?
Holland,
Do you know
2
what, Stel?
teams. In Spain,
You haven't done
3
your
teams.
homework. You haven't done your homework.
No,
Italy.
In Spain,
Hang on.
there's only 3 teams that can do it.
Hang on. Sorry. See, what we're doing now is we're shoehorning that there's 6 very good teams in the Premier League. This is not true.
No, I never
This
said
isn't-
very good. I said the Big Six. Anyone can finish in the top 3 or 4.
Hang on. But in Italy, 3 different teams have won the league in the last 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
So when we're saying anyone can beat anyone, everyone in the Premier League is sitting back going, Man City will win this. Man City will win this. In those leagues, Milan, Inter Milan, and Napoli have all won it in the last 3 years. I wouldn't put it past Juventus or someone like that winning it this year.
100%.
Our league is not competitive.
And I agree. The Italian league recently has definitely become more competitive in recent years, 100%. But other than them, the Spanish, the Dutch, the Portuguese,
The
German,
English.
Ajax are bottom of the league.
Yeah, well, they're 15th at the moment. But
First time in 4,000 years. But the Premier League for me.
But who won the Eredivisie recently? Because Ajax haven't won it all for the last so many years.
PSV or finals. The top
Feyenoord didn't Feyenoord win it last season?
Yeah, but Perchy, that's what I'm saying. There's 3 clubs per league. Maybe not so much Italy.
Same as in the Premier League.
No,
Yeah.
because over the last 20 years,
how many teams
United have won it,
every
Arsenal
year,
have won it,
really?
Chelsea have won it, Man City have won it, Leicester have won it. The Big Six have all shared it. Only in our league does that happen.
No, they haven't. In the last 10 years, the Big Six is a myth.
20 years, the last 20 years.
Right.
In the Premier League years.
Who's the Big Six?
Well, United, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Okay.
Spurs are in it now, although Leicester have won more than
Right.
us.
So in the last 20 years, 4
United.
So in the last 20 years, 4 of those have won it.
Arsenal won it in 2004, didn't they?
Oh, right. If we're really going to cling
20 years. I said 20 years. Yeah.
Right. So okay. Right. Hang on. I'm just checking out. Right. So I'm looking at the Premier League. Right. In the last decade, you've got Chelsea, City. Liverpool and Leicester won it once. Right. As an anomaly.
Last decade. Yeah.
No, Man United haven't. Right. Now, if
I
look at
decade. Yeah.
So, okay. So I'm going to look at the Italian league winners. So
No,
4
we
teams.
We agree with more competitive. But I agree with you about Italy, Savva. I agree with about Italy. You're right.
Hang on, I'm going to do all the countries. I'm going to do all the countries to prove this point. In
So-
the Italian league, Napoli, Milan, Inter, Juve. So 4, the same, right?
Yeah, we agree on that.
Okay. So now if we go to
3 in La Liga, I've just checked
3 in the Liga. Okay, 3 in the Liga. All right.
Portugal's probably 2.
Portugal might be 2. So let's be fair.
Holland's probably 2.
Sure. But other than
Holland's more than that, I think.
hang on, I'm checking now. I'm checking now. Was it Dutch league?
Unless 20. I think 20 might have won it one season, maybe.
Dutch league winners.
Didn't PSV win it as well recently?
Last
Yeah, a few
decade.
years ago.
PSV, Feyenoord, Ajax. They're the only 3, really.
Right. So if you look Feyenoord, Ajax, and PSV, 3. Right?
Yeah.
Feyenoord, Ajax, and PSV. So basically, what your theory is basically because of an anomaly by Leicester City that we're more competitive as a league.
No, I never said more competitive. What I said was anyone in our league can beat anyone. And the Big Six, those Big Six have won more European trophies in the last 20 years than any other league in Europe. I think maybe Spain, because Seville have won like the Europa Cup for like 20 years in a row, something stupid. But when it comes to European semi-finals and finals, the Premier League.
Hang on, but how far do we go back? Surely we're not counting semi-finals here. Like that's not a thing.
I'm talking about the teams that get to the latter stages, right towards the end, or even finals. I'm sure the Brits, the English clubs, have been in more European finals Champions League finals in the last 10 years in any other league.
But how many have won it?
Maybe Spain, because Real Madrid they're the biggest, greatest club in the world.
I just don't understand when I hear this notion that it there's more upsets in this league than any other. I'm constantly seeing the big boys in the other leagues getting beaten and drawing, and like last year, Bayern Munich stuttering all over the place, getting beaten by lower level teams. Same with Dortmund every week. Same with Inter Milan. Same with what I mean, like just loads and loads of I just don't understand where this theory comes from. I feel like English fans say it because it's fed into us by Sky Sports. Like when they were doing that thing, could these players do it on a cold? Like, I remember once watching Richard Keys and Andy Gray when they were working for Sky Sports, and I remember they sat down. They were talking about, they were talking about something Messi and Barcelona. And they were like, but could Messi and this Barcelona team do it on a wet night in Stoke? And I thought, yeah, they'd score about 20. Yeah. What do you mean? Could they do it on a wet night? But these are the narratives pushed by this league that no one in this league could defend. No one. You look at the defenses in our league compared to other leagues. Watch Atletico Madrid defend. Watch Barcelona defend. Right? Watch these teams defend compared to not Spurs, compared to the Premier League clubs. These clubs can defend. They're difficult to break down. What ours is end to end, mistakes everywhere, goals everywhere because no one can defend, and we confuse the most hectic with the best.
Savva, I disagree here. I think the top 10 clubs in the Premier League, so the big six, then add Aston Villa, Brighton, that kind of level. Yep. I think those 10 outdo any league in Europe, hands down.
In what way?
Top 10,
based on what?
Based on what? Match, if they played each other, if our top 10 played Europe's top 10, our top 10 would win more games.
Hang on. I love this. First and foremost, right? Other than last year at Man City, don't Real Madrid kind of like walk through every one of ours all the time?
Just one team in the top 10.
Hang on. I'm going to get there. Hang on.
Yeah.
Don't Seville, Villarreal.
Villarreal battered two of England's best teams to win the Europa League.
Don't these teams keep winning the Europa Leagues when the English teams that you're talking about are in there? Why?
How have Seville?
I said our top 10 teams. If you look at from 1st to 10th and compare it to 1st to 10th in any other league, our 1st to 10 are stronger than the 1st to 10th in any other league.
Based on what?
On what I see when I watch them play.
Oh, nonsense! I'm sorry. I watched Real Betis play the other day. Right, who are 8th in La Liga. They were excellent.
Who's the top 10? Who's the top 10 in Spain right now? Let's go.
I'll tell you now.
Top 10 is Girona, who are excellent.
Girona, who play brilliant.
Aston Villa,
Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Athletic Bilbao, Real Sociedad, Real Betis, Las Palmas, Valencia, and Real Vallecano.
Palmas, Real Sociedad, and Vallecano do not get into our top 10 in England. No way.
Stel, sorry, hang on, Perchy. Stel, do you know what? I can tell you don't watch the Spanish league. Real Sociedad are excellent. That Real Sociedad.
Where are they in the league?
Real Sociedad are 6th at the moment.
6th in the league.
They're 6th in the league.
Who's 6th in our league?
Man United.
Man United. They'd batter Man United.
Real Sociedad. Have you watched them still? This is what my worry is. Have you watched them?
Hold on. Man United's full strength squad, not all the injuries they've got now, don't beat Real Sociedad.
Have you seen? Again, I'll ask the question. Have you watched Spanish football? Real Sociedad.
I haven't watched Real Sociedad. No.
Right. Watch Real Sociedad will be in the Champions League next week. Watch them. Hang on. Watch them play. Still, no offense. What's happening here? You're doing what most English fans do. Don't watch any of the teams and then go, our team in that position is better than that. How do you know?
No, so if I was to say to you, so listen, people are saying what I've said and going on a different tangent here. What I said is this: if the 1st to 10th place teams in England, all played, let's say we put all the Spanish top 10 and all the English top 10 into one league of 20, I guarantee you more English sides finishing that top 10 than Spanish sides.
I ask you how, because just now you said Real Sociedad wouldn't beat anyone in our top 10.
Because I think we've got more better managers in this league with more spending power than Spain. And I believe they've got better squads overall on that basis. Yes, I haven't watched all of it. You're right, Savva. You're right. And I give you that. I give you that.
This is what I don't get. So how can you sit there and go, our top 10 beat their top 10, but you don't know who the teams and the players are? Like, have you watched Girona play this year?
Oh, they've been marvellous.
Right, Girona are excellent.
Because they're having a great season. I have watched them because they're having
Girona are
excellent. Top of the league, first or second, aren't they? Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Hang on. So Real Madrid are Real Madrid. Barcelona could still give anybody a game in Europe on their day when they got their best team out.
All right, so Savva, do you say the top 10 Spanish sides are better than the top 10 in the Premier League then?
I'm not saying better or worse, but it's this. My point is, it's this notion from everyone. No, hang on. It's this notion from everyone in England that everyone else is so much worse than our teams. Let's be brutally honest about this, right? If I look at the Spanish league and look at Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, Betis, Valencia, some very good football teams, right? Then I look at the Premier League, right? Let's be brutally honest about this. Other than Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal, right? What would happen if Tottenham played any one of those teams right now, right?
I think a full-strength Spurs team gives anyone a game.
Sure. Okay, Chelsea, West Ham.
Brighton. Chelsea full-strength, I think, give anyone a game. We're seeing Chelsea now are starting to wake up, and they haven't got their players back yet.
Sure, but the thing is, it's like I just don't. I don't.
You say
understand.
Sure, but that proves my point, doesn't it?
No. Hang on, no. What I'm saying is, sure, when anybody's got their full strength team,
the same for Spanish players.
We're belittling all these teams in other countries.
I'm not belittling them, Savva.
You are.
No, I'm not. I'm saying I think we're stronger than them. I'm not belittling them. I still think they're good. I think we're better.
I just think it gets to a stage where
Brighton and Villa are nothing special. I disagree with this. I think that's a wild comment. I think Brighton are a very good team. I think they're a very good side. But you name me a club that loses all their best players every year, replenishes it, and still fights in that top six without the money of the top six.
So what have Brighton done in Europe so far?
Well, it's only their first season in it, isn't it?
No, it doesn't matter. You're saying they're so much better than all these other teams. They've lost to
AEK.
They've lost to AEK.
I never said that. I never said they're better than all those teams. I said our top 10, which Brighton are part of, I think if you put our top 10 against the Spanish top 10, and not just Spain, Savva, Italy, Portugal, all the European countries, Germany, I think our top 10 combined.
I agree with our top three. I agree that our top three, but I think we're clutching at straws now when we're talking about. Look at Newcastle.
Premier League snobbery.
Of course it is. Look at Newcastle in
Europe
I think so far this season.
Crap. I think there's crap teams in the Premier League, Perchy. I think Luton have got no right being in the Premier League. Well, they've got a right because they won the championship, or they qualified for the championship. But do they represent the Premier League, Luton? No, they don't. I don't think they do. But I'm just saying the top 10, I think, are probably the best in Europe when you compare them to the top 10. If you compare Brighton to just Girona, no, I don't think Brighton are better. But if we do the top 10 be top 10 is my argument.
Can I ask you a question, though? Without watching these teams play, what is this evidence based on?
The quality of managers in the Premier League and the financial.
But you don't. But do you know who the managers are in the top 10 of La Liga before we?
It's not Jurgen Klopp. It's not Pep Guardiola. It's not Pochettino.
Right. So you're going to the big three. Basically.
No, Unai Emery. Unai Emery's a fantastic manager.
Okay, and Aston Villa. What are Aston Villa doing in their European group?
I don't know, Savva.
Right, Aston Villa in their group so far, right, are playing teams like Legia Warsaw, Zrinski, and AZ Alkmaar, and they haven't even won all of their games. But yet now we're saying just put them up against Real Sociedad, they'll beat them. It's like Real Sociedad are, by the way, top team. I want Spurs to raid Real Sociedad. I just think we're doing. I just think we're doing this thing.
But we know Aston Villa is going to qualify out of that group. We know they will.
Sure.
I expect them to, but
that's not the results are against a couple of teams where they've got to rotate
here's
players.
The question, though.
They've got weekend games. Yeah, go on, Perchy.
But no. My point being is from your standpoint, I expect Aston Villa to win the Europa Conference League.
Yeah,
I expect them to.
We couldn't beat Pacos Ferreira, Perchy, with Spurs.
But then how can we sit there and start saying other leagues and disrespect?
Okay, so Spurs don't beat. So if Spurs don't beat Pacos Ferreira, they're better than us.
No.
It doesn't work. It's not as linear as that. It's more.
Can I ask a question? I'll ask you a question, right? If all these teams that are in the top are so good, right? Let me just quickly check, make sure I've got this right. Why are Newcastle bottom of their Champions League group? Man United are bottom of their Champions League group. Right? What if all these teams are so great, why are they not top of their groups? Why is it that they get into Europe, can't do anything, but then we claim they're better than everyone else?
I think for Newcastle, it's a combination of injuries, and I think they're in one of the toughest groups in Europe. And those teams, most of them are better than Newcastle. PSG are champions of France. Dortmund came second in Germany. So I think they're just up against better teams, not better top 10. As for, who's the other one you said? Newcastle.
Man United.
Man United this year, man.
But they got beaten by Real Sociedad, the team we're trying to prove.
But they're above the teams you're praising. We're saying Man U are shit, and they're above. They're above four of the teams that you're praising that would just beat Spanish teams.
I think with Man United, the injuries they have had this season has crippled. They lost their whole defense. What's happening to Spurs now happened to Man United at the start of the season, and I think that's crippled them. Plus,
every club has injuries.
Yeah, I know, but Man United had a hell of a lot this season. A lot.
I'll tell you what.
Defending them.
I think if Real Sociedad played Man United right now, both teams in sixth, I think it would be 4-0.
Okay, I agree that Real Sociedad can beat Man United, but I'm not comparing Man United to Real Sociedad. I'm comparing the top 10 of. Tell me which top 10 in.
But we just compared. They're both.
Hang on, sorry, Danny. Hang on. We weren't. We weren't comparing European to league football. We weren't. My point is this: is that we've got teams that people have never seen playing, and then we're just announcing. Like, look at the Premier League. If we really look at it, right, we're saying it's competitive. What's happened for the last 6 years?
No, I'm not saying it's competitive, Savva. I think we've got more stronger teams in our league than any other league. That's what I'm saying. I think there's more strength in the Premier League than any other league. I think most leagues in Europe, there's about 14 to 12 teams that just aren't at the level of the Premier League.
So now all of a sudden, Brentford, West Ham, Brighton for one season, Newcastle's they've been up there for 1 year.
West Ham with David Moyes, they beat Seville to get to the final, and then they won it. So we've got to give them some credibility.
I love that. So we're giving them credibility, but when Real Sociedad beat Man United, they get no credibility.
I've said I give Real Sociedad credibility. I give them 100%. I agree with that.
By the way, this comment here, Phil. Yes, Phil. When you're saying the top 10 in England have better squads, Phil, I bet you don't know half the squads in Spain. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I bet you don't know half those squads. This is what we do in England. It's these squads are better. I bet you if I said to you, can you name me 10 players from Real Sociedad, I bet most people in this chat would struggle.
Yeah,
that's the problem with it.
100%.
That is the problem with it. Like, I've heard this debate for years, right? That, it's just the Premier League's much better. Then for me, if the Premier League's much better, they should win every Europa League. They should win every Champions League. They should win every Conference League. If we're that much better, why don't we win the Champions League every year? Why? Of course it doesn't work like that. You know why, Stel, it doesn't work like that? Because they're not all as good as we think they are.
No, it's because managers sometimes prioritize other competitions.
That's why.
No,
managers.
Okay,
no managers of other countries prioritize their league.
Did Spurs take the European Conference League as seriously as what West Ham did? No, we didn't.
But then
we started Dane Scarlett.
Doesn't that just say it all though?
And all these, it's like
but Stel, do you know what, Stel? But Stel, isn't that exactly the point? That in the Premier League, we all of a sudden we've bought into this narrative.
There's more money in the Premier League finishing higher up, Perchy.
Yeah. But that's my point though. We're so arrogant as Premier League football fans.
But I agree. That's a different conversation. I wanted us to take the Conference League seriously. No.
But still, my point is fans are doing it. Like, you're doing it at the moment. Like, it's a throwaway comments for me. That's the bit. I watch a lot of La Liga just because I'm out here in Spain. I watch a lot of La Liga, and some of the football, by the way, some of these teams play
it's brilliant.
Outdo a lot of Premier League teams, and I find it's just. I think. Do you know what? It's one of those. I'll give you a test this weekend. Go and watch some La Liga this weekend. There's loads on it. They're always on telly. Go and watch it. Some of the football is outstanding, by the way. And when
some
I
of the
hear Kroll-
defending as well, Perchy. Some of the defending is brilliant.
Agreed. But when I hear statements, and it does get to me because it comes across as Premier League snobbering because we've got all the money in the world. We're better than everyone else. No, we're not. What we are, we've got a load of highly paid players that we pay a lot of money for, but they're no better. I think Savva got a good point on. It's more entertaining because it's end to end in the Premier League because you can't defend in the Premier League. Defending's just disappeared from it. But genuinely, people in the chat as well, if you haven't, go and watch the league games this weekend. There's some really good games on this weekend, but just sit down and watch it because people.
All right, let me ask you this then. Let's park the Spain v England top 10 argument. If you let's compare. If you compare the top 10 in England to the top 10 in Germany, Holland, Portugal, all the other leagues, Italy, would you say we're stronger in that argument then?
I'll have a look at Germany, but I think we'd top 10 in Germany. So Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, Stuttgart, Leipzig, Dortmund, Hoffenheim, Frankfurt, Freiburg, Mönchengladbach, and Augsburg. Listen, I think Stuttgart, by the way, are a very good football inside. Bayern Munich are obviously a very good football inside. Leverkusen, by the way, have been brilliant this season.
RB
Leipzig, Dortmund, Hoffenheim are good. Frankfurt are always a good side that just won the Europa Conference League not too long ago. Sorry, the Europa League not too long ago.
But what we can't have it both ways though. What we can't do is we can't say, oh, our teams are stronger, they got better managers, better squads. But then every time an example is proved of, yeah, but they beat them. Oh, yeah, but they didn't try their best. They didn't put out their best team. Because otherwise, then the argument can never be won. Like,
no, I think you've got to take it case by case. With Spurs, no one's going to convince me we took that seriously. Whereas West Ham,
which one?
They made it their centerpiece for the season to win that. They made it their be-all, right?
Yeah, but hang
Spurs,
on. We were playing.
But Harry Kane played in the Conference League games.
Right, hang on. In the Conference League, we shouldn't have needed our best team to get out of that group that we got out of. There's no excuse for me. We weren't playing Europe's elite. What happens every time we're in the Champions League? Look at last year. Look at last year. Milan didn't really. You had to do a lot to beat us. Look at us when all right. Other than the season we got to the Champions League final, I think when we were in the Europa League all those times, we were getting knocked out to who?
Ghent.
And we were playing. I remember Son in those games, Dele Alli in those games, out of Vertonghen, Kane.
But Savva, do you believe that the Gents and the Genks and the Pacos Ferreira are better than Spurs?
It's not about them being better than us, right? But it's about, again, that comes down to the arrogance. It comes down to the arrogance.
That's a different argument, though, isn't it? That's a different argument.
No, it's arrogant because we go into those games thinking that we're just going to turn up and win. And we belittle every team. There's so many good teams across Europe.
Listen, I'm not
in the Premier League don't seem to know.
All right, I'm not trying to belittle any other club. That's not what I'm doing. All I was trying to put forward just for the sake of debate. I don't even know what the original question was, by the way.
That doesn't matter. We're having a debate. It don't matter. Who cares? Cool. It's good content.
I was just saying. I think. Good for the channel. I just
good for the channel.
I'm happy to debate this. I just think that the top 10 in the Premier League are the best when compared to the other top 10, or at least minimum matching. But I think we're better. I do. Okay. I do think that the top 10 are.
So you've watched all the top 10 in Spain this year?
No, I haven't.
So I don't see how you can argue it then.
But from that
doing
theory,
it on the basis of the power, the financial power, and the level of quality.
That's got nothing to do. No, hang on. Well, hang on. This isn't a debate about who spent the most money, who's got the most money.
Yeah. These
teams put together. I don't know how much Real Sociedad have spent. They've assembled a lovely team. Like their midfield, the likes of Zubamendi in there, Mikel Merino, the likes of
Bryce Mendes,
Kubo, Ozabal, Lenormand at the back. They've got brilliant players all over. It's nothing to do with the money.
Can I just say?
But I'm saying is, go on, Has, you speak.
Sorry, I've been a bit quiet for the last bit.
No,
I've just enjoyed watching this debate, but doesn't it just show that there's good quality of coaching, despite, like Savva, you were saying, there's a lot more money in the Premier League. You know, there's a lot more this, that, and the other in the Premier League. But you look at Spain, how well those teams are being coached, despite that lack of money.
I agree.
Despite the lack of funding, right? These managers can put out players that can compete with these so-called big teams in the Premier League.
We said that about Brighton last year with De Zerbi. We said the same thing.
Yeah, I know, but these
that's
people
the Premier
are doing
League.
it.
But that's the Premier League. So
okay, but
hang on.
Look what's happening with Girona at the moment.
But Stel's big enough. Let's be fair. West Ham, who were basically a relegation battle last season, they're in the top 10 of the Premier League at the moment. Chelsea, who finished 12th last season in the Premier League, whatever, they're currently 10th in the Premier League. Newcastle, who have just been embarrassed in Europe, let's be brutally honest, Newcastle have been really, really poor apart from one game against PSG. You got Tottenham, who finished 8th in the Premier League last season. And let's be honest, we're an okay team. We're nothing special. Aston Villa, who were bottom of the table this time last year before Unai Emery took over. And now all of a sudden it's all of this top 10 is way better than all of the Spain's top 10. I don't get where this has come from.
I don't think you can definitively say that our top 10 is 100% better than teams in Spain. You can't definitively say that. You can say we might have better quality players, but certainly the players that have been coached in Spain, the way they've been coached and the way they're playing at the moment and the last few seasons, I think is phenomenal. You know, we've got players coming into the Premier League. We're thinking, Jesus Christ, this guy's a baller or whatever. But what are they doing in the Premier League? You know, I'll give I don't know, Ndombele is an example. Brought him from the French league. Thought, oh, what a baller, comes to the Premier League. Nothing. There's so many other players. I'm just giving him as an example. But you look at. But what I'm saying is, sorry, Perchy. You said, you know, you didn't know many of the players at Sociedad. So many of them you didn't know, or any of the Spanish players. But a lot of these players, week in, week out, they're putting in 10 out of 10 performances, mate. And I just think if they had the money that we have over there, they will dominate Europe
pound for pound. They're coaching
every season.
But you've just confirmed what I was saying. Because we've got that financial power, it makes us stronger. That's the point I was making.
No, but that's not necessarily true.
Not in every case, but in most cases it is. Look at what it's done for Man City.
So, but still, when you said, okay, so what we're talking, in essence, what we're talking about here is we're talking about Man City and Liverpool. We're talking about two very strong teams and the rest are okay. Right? Over the last 6-7 years, has that not been the case?
The last couple of years, the last 5-6 years, yes.
Right. So who's done it? So where's all this strength come from? In that very same time, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico have all won La Liga. In that same time.
I'm not arguing the top. I'm arguing the top 10, Savva, not the top.
No, I hear you. But I think
Real Madrid are the best in the world of the last 10
So we're saying Tottenham, Villa, United, Newcastle, Brighton, West Ham, and Chelsea are so much better than the other 7 teams in 4th to 10th than La Liga.
I'm not saying so much better, Savva, but I think as a top 10 combined, if we put their top 10, our top 10 into one division of 20, I think more Premier League teams finish in that top 10.
Right, so just let me let you know. So right now, where are Tottenham in the league?
4th, are we?
4th. Right.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid are 4th in the Spanish league. Mm-hmm. Atletico Madrid, for me, wiped the floor with Tottenham.
Yeah.
I watched Atletico.
Not with our starting 11 fit.
I watched them just wipe the floor with Real Madrid starting 11 fit. Atletico Madrid are an excellent football team that are so well drilled defensively. Yeah. This is the thing. We keep saying with our best 11, we've only beaten one proper team this year, and that was through VAR. I don't know who we think we are.
No, I'm not saying we would beat Atletico, but they're not going to wipe the floor with us.
Why wouldn't they?
Because no one's wiped the floor with us with our starting 11. Nobody.
But who have we played?
Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool.
But Man United are not that good. Yeah. Arsenal, I'll say, are a good team, but not this world-beating team that we're talking about. Our top 10 being amazing.
I think Arsenal are a top side. I think they're a good side.
Okay, well, let's see how far they go in the Champions League then. If we're talking about, again, Arsenal, a top side that haven't been in the Champions League for how long? But now they're a top side. Like, I just feel we're praising too many average teams here.
This season, our starting 11, I know after that it's absolute for the gutter, but our starting 11 this season, I honestly think that team, I'm not saying they'll win every game, they will give any team a run for their money on game day.
I think at Atletico Madrid Stadium, I think Atletico Madrid control the game, dominate the game, and batter us. Because, again, we're talking about our best 11. Well, you're talking about our best 11. We struggle to score goals with our best 11. Don't we?
But teams struggle. But teams struggle to score against us as well.
Who struggles to score against us?
Well,
how many clean sheets have we? How many clean sheets have we had this season?
Who struggles?
Before the injuries.
No, just from start to finish. Well,
go through the games this season.
Right. Okay. Do you want to know the games we've had clean sheets in? That would be easier, right?
Luton's one.
Right. So hang on. I'll get there. By the way, in our last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in our last 10 games, we've had 2 clean sheets against Fulham and Luton.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many we can score? Okay. How many? Hold on. How many we conceded though in those games?
Hang on. Well, we conceded two to Arsenal.
Yeah.
We conceded 1 to Liverpool, but let's be brutally honest, we know why. We conceded 4 to Chelsea. We conceded 2 to Wolves.
That's the injury day.
Right. We conceded
injury day.
We conceded
to get the injury days.
We conceded 2. We conceded 2 to Burnley.
But we put 5 past them, yeah.
But hang on, don't change your narrative. If you ask the question, don't then change the narrative. You asked who we conceded against. We conceded 2 to Brentford, right? We conceded 2 to Fulham in the cup. I don't think again.
But that was the B team. That was the B team in the cup, Savva. Listen, I'm saying our starting best 11. Nobody batters them. Nobody's battered them. Nobody.
I think Man City stick 4 or 5 past it. I don't think it's as good as you think.
I think our starting 11 will give anyone a run for their money, and they will not get battered. They'll lose games, yes, but not get battered. No chance. Not that.
I think the big boys batter us. I think the big boys batter us.
I think we need to put things into context. That as in, the team would compete. I'm not saying we wouldn't be competitive against other big teams like Atletico Madrid, Cities, and everyone else. We would compete. Yes, we would seep some goals in as well.
I don't think we would. I think we're getting carried away.
But with the first 11, Savva.
Okay. Let's put this first 11 into context.
Van de Ven, Romero,
hang on. I know our first team.
Maddison.
You don't have to tell me our first team. I understand our first 11, right? If we put this into context, our first 11 against Arsenal, right? Second half was brilliant. First half, they could have been out of sight. First half, they could have been out of sight against our first 11, right? They were 1-0 up and missed 3 or 4 glorious chances. So it's a game of ifs, buts and maybes. Liverpool, our first 11 weren't in the game against Liverpool. We had to go down. They had to go down to 9 men for us to win that game. We were poor in that game before that, right?
Yeah, but you're judging 90-minute game on 30 minutes. You can't do that.
Okay, but I can only judge from what I saw. I can only go by the evidence of what I saw.
But the game is 90 minutes, though. So that's a difficult one for us to use as an example, though, isn't it? We can't really use that as an example.
I can only go by what I saw. 11 against 11, Liverpool were by far the better team. Right?
For 30 minutes, they were better. I agree.
Okay, for 30 minutes. But we didn't look like we were in that game. Other than that, who have we played that we... Yeah. This is my point. We're judging our best 11 against anybody's best 11. What are we judging this on?
No, I'm saying I think we can compete the way we play and the way he's got them going and the signings we've made. I think we can compete with any team. Will we beat them?
I need evidence. I need evidence. Evidence. Well, I've watched us struggle in most games this season
because we were top of the league before the injury, Savva.
Hang on.
Undefeated.
No, Stel, hang on. You're straw man in this. This is the problem. You're straw man.
No, you said you want evidence. I'm giving it to you.
No, you're not.
Undefeated.
No, that's not what I asked. I asked was the evidence that we will compete with anyone. So far, the best we've played is Arsenal when it's 11v11. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. The Liverpool game was an anomaly because of what happened. Yes. Other than that, I'm watching us. We were poor against Sheffield United. We were poor for most of the game against Luton Town. We
Okay,
were poor for most of the game against Fulham. Poor
Right, Savva.
hang on.
Yeah,
Poor
yeah.
for most, or if not all of the Palace game. We were poor for most of the Chelsea game, even when we had 11 men on.
No. Hold on. Now you're being disingenuous because you said 30 minutes against Liverpool.
Hang on.
They were great, but until the shit hit the fan against Chelsea, the first 20 minutes we were tearing Chelsea to pieces.
Hang on.
You've got to use the same example now.
Okay, hang on. Okay, tearing pieces. Hang on. This is where football fans like you get a little bit too excited. Tearing Chelsea to pieces. We had one shot on goal.
We were all over them, Savva.
Hang on.
Didn't know what was going on.
Okay, but tearing Chelsea to pieces was one shot on goal. That's
Whether
Spurs fans right there.
That's a different story. But we had them.
No, it's not. So how did we tear them to
quick.
pieces?
They had our possession in the first 20 minutes was bonkers. They could, and it was in their half.
But we did nothing with it.
Stell, I'm going to use your point against you.
Nothing with the
game,
chances
but Stell, you can't use the argument about 90 minutes.
Liverpool and not one for Chelsea. Hold on,
hang on.
You can't say Liverpool didn't.
Hang on. Okay, but the difference is in the game that I'm giving you, right? In the game I'm giving you, Chelsea v Spurs. For the first 15 minutes, I thought we were very good, but didn't really do anything with it, which is a lot of what we've done this season. Been good in patches.
We scored a goal that was offside.
Hang on, let me finish, man. You've got to let me finish.
We scored a goal that was offside.
It doesn't matter. It was offside. They scored 3 offside goals in the game.
But we
doesn't
did something
matter.
with it then. We did more than what you said.
Fucking hell. Let me talk. Right. No, we can't count offside goals. If we're counting offside goals, right, then Chelsea wiped the floor of us. They had 3 offside goals, right? Spurs got 1 shot in the game. 1 shot. Then after we scored, Chelsea had 7 shots without reply from us. So all of this, we were superb against Chelsea. For 15 minutes, we were really good. Then Chelsea took over the game and battered us, right? We completely lost. No.
They battered us when Van der Ven pulled his hamstring when
No. I've got the stats in front of me. I've got the stats.
Maddison went off injured.
I've got the stats. I've got the stats still in front of me.
Hold on. Yes,
no.
Yes, they got. Hold on. Yes, they got back
nonsense.
in the game. Yes, they got back in the game, and yes, they began to get more momentum. I agree. Yes, they did. But that game was poised nicely, and I thought Spurs would go on and win.
Okay, but evidence. I'm about to bring evidence. You're using feelings. I'm about to bring evidence. Before the red cards and the hamstring, right? Before the red card and the hamstring, Spurs had 1 shot in the game.
Yeah.
Chelsea had 7, right?
Yeah.
Spurs had 44% of the ball. Chelsea had 56% of the ball. So on what grounds before the red and the yellow, when we're saying it was evenly poised, Chelsea would, all the momentum, all the chances, all the attacking was done by Chelsea. We play well. We do this every game.
Yeah.
Spurs play well for 10 to 15 minutes in a game, and then our fans go, Ange ball. It's not Ange ball. We have spells, and then we drop off.
Well, I never said all of that.
Ellie, I've just given you the facts. I've just given you the facts. I'm sorry.
The first 20 minutes, Spurs were all over Chelsea.
1 shot.
Gary Neville, the commentator, he said
1 shot.
Okay, fine. But Gary Neville, ex-pro, good commentator, he said Chelsea are in big trouble in this game. And this was after 20 minutes. So can I throw the stats? I get it.
1 shot.
We all use stats when it suits us. We all say
hang on.
The eye test, right?
But hang on.
We all do.
Hang on, no. But still, I came at you with the eye test. You didn't like it, so I went to the stats to back up. That first half, we were doing a watch along, right?
Yeah, but the eye test, the first 20 minutes, we were all over Chelsea.
But still, can I just ask the point on that?
Whether we shoot them, it's a different story.
No, it's
Still,
not.
let me just ask the point of that.
How can you batter a team where you have 1 shot on their goal?
If somebody decides to pass instead of shoot, or Brendan Johnson decides to pass,
then we're not battering them, are we?
But still,
we're just making the wrong decision at the end.
Still, this is the point, though. But hang on. This is what I'm going to sit in the middle with for a second, just to prove what you're both kind of saying similar things, but you're missing it by way off it. What's happening is, yes, we did dominate the game for that 20 minutes. However, isn't that alarming that we're having 1 shot on target whilst dominating games? And by the way, when I say against Chelsea, we've been doing it a lot. I'll use Luton Town. We dominated for the first 20 minutes to half an hour. Couldn't score.
And then died off.
But then it falls away. This is the part of it for me. I agree with you. We did that first 20 minutes. We were brilliant. We should have been 2 or 3-0.
Hang on. How? Perchy, how should we have been 2 or 3-0 up when we had one shot?
Because we should have taken more of our chances. But this is my art.
No. We should have taken more of our chances. There weren't any chances.
No, but my point being is in the sense of creating chances. We were dominating on the ball, but we didn't create the chances in the sense of taking them.
I think the difference is...
Hang on. Sorry. Those two things can't coexist.
Well, they can.
No, they can't. We should have taken our chances, but we didn't create any chances.
No, in the sense of we had all of the ball. We had all of the ball, but didn't do anything with it. But we should have.
Right, so that's not battering a team, is it? If you watch a game at the weekend and a team has 85% possession, but has 2 shots in the game, it just means they're going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. If you do not create, you're not battering. The difference is in that game, after Chelsea realised we can't break them down, right? Chelsea then had 7 shots in a row. They had 3 goals disallowed in that time, Perchy.
I agree.
Right?
No.
So from the 20th minute till the red card, till the hamstring, Chelsea were well on top and we panicked. We panicked big time. They got in, they got in behind Van der Ven. They got in behind Romero. Porro might as well have been sitting with me and you. They got in behind him. They had chance after chance after chance. They were all over us.
But Savva,
this is why I can't take Ellie seriously.
After that 20 minutes, we were awful. I don't care what after that 20 minutes, we were awful. And Chelsea went, do you know what? We basically gifted it to them and go and take it on. Because we didn't look up
this
for
is
it.
disingenuous. No, this is not. No, this is disingenuous still. Don't start doing this. I don't care. I'll call this shit out. I'll call this shit out, right? No. I'm calling this shit out. I don't care. I'm going to call this nonsense out from Ellie. Ellie always just lies, right? I was there too. We would have beaten them. It's not on Stel's feelings. There's no evidence we would have beaten them. They were all over us at the time of us getting a red card. So all of this, we would have. Again, it's feelings. I don't know how many streams we have to go on where we just talk about feelings. We feel we should have won. They were dominating at the time of yes or no. They were dominating at the time of the red cards and the hamstring.
Oh yeah, no. Chelsea after the 20 minutes, Chelsea were the better team from the half.
So I agree with that. Look at this. We opened them up. Well, no, we didn't. We had one shot. Chelsea's shots were all like, I love this, right? This is what I love about Spurs fans and how disingenuous they are. So we have one shot, but we open them up. They open us up and have 7 shots, of which Vicario made 2 very good saves, if you remember. Everyone remember? Vicario making a couple of really good saves down to his left. And now all of a sudden, Chelsea's shots were tame. We opened them up. People just can't tell the truth when it's their own football club. Chelsea were all over us after that first 15 minutes where we had one shot at goal.
I think it all changed after that Udogie challenge on Sterling.
Agreed.
When that Udogie challenge
that was the difference. Yeah,
it's like something clicked with Chelsea, and Chelsea then just went full on attack. And I think this whole thing about we were all over them. We would have done this, that, or the other in the first 20 minutes. I think it looked that way because we was closing down really well in that first 20 minutes. There was a lot of energy in the team. They were closing Chelsea down. They were winning all the duels, all the second balls. They were winning it all. The fact is, though, we didn't create much when we were on the ball.
We never do.
We had one shot on goal, which we scored, but we didn't do anything after that. It's just... How are we getting to this stage then where if that had been against us, if a team, right, if for what Stel and Elliot say in the chat, if a team had 20 minutes of the ball against us and only had one shot, our fans would be going, we defended brilliantly. They only had one shot. Right? When it's us, we're like, we opened them up. We were threatening. I don't remember us being threatening. We scored a good goal. Then we had the goal disallowed. Other than that, we didn't trouble Robert Sanchez once. Do you think it would have been the same scenario
every time?
Right, Savva, a lot of people are saying...
Romero got sent off on the 33rd minute. So that's 10 minutes after Spurs were dominating the game.
I don't think we were until the 20th minute, though, mate. We had one shot in the game.
For me, the first 20 minutes, Spurs were on top, right? Then Chelsea took over. It was 10 minutes into that period, we went down to 10 men. That backs up my point. We capitulated before they dominated.
Until that
But these
moment,
stats you shared don't add up to me. Because he got sent off in the 33rd minute. They weren't dominating for 30 minutes.
Still, and I don't think we were dominating for 20 minutes. This is the problem. Like when
I think Chelsea was shell shocked. They didn't have any clue.
Not for 20 minutes. Not for 20 minutes. They scored
their penalty in the 35th minute. That's after Mahrez been sent off, obviously, because he got the ball. I think Chelsea had a 5-10 minute patch before that. So I think for 10 minutes, yes, they were on top. I think capitulated.
Spurs were brilliant for 20 minutes, but had one shot in the game. Brilliant. That's mesmerising. Chelsea then did Chelsea start to dominate and have 7 shots without reply?
But we didn't have one shot. We had a goal. We had one disallowed by an inch. Which
a disallowed goal doesn't count. A disallowed goal doesn't count. That's not how football works.
Even if by an inch, the
that's not how it works. We can't just change rules because
if we're going to do that.
Okay,
we do that. We lost 7-2, right?
Fair enough. Forget the disallowed goal.
No, hang on. Why are we now changing the rules to suit narratives? We did. Sonny scored a sublime goal. No, he didn't score a goal. It was offside. That we can't just go right. If we're going by
the build-up play, then hang on. Use the build-up play to the goal.
Hang on,
build-up play.
Ellie, I don't care. I don't care. You don't ever talk the truth. It's just nonsense, right? I'm sorry. I'll call it out. If we're going to do this, if we're going to say Sonny scored a sublime,
make it personal.
Hang on, let me finish. Let me finish. Right? If we're going to say it's not personal, I just think that it's. I had
I'm talking to everyone.
No, I know, but I feel like we're trying to create new narratives from that game. We're trying to create new narratives, right?
It's opinions,
Tottenham, but it's not really. Tottenham had one shot, right? Chelsea then had 7 without reply, plus 3 disallowed goals. How are we going to turn around and go? Like
that wasn't in the 10-minute period before we went down to 10 men, though. All those stats. That wasn't that 10-minute period after. Savva, can I ask you a question then? Just for a bit of clarity, right? Let me ask you a question. If a team doesn't have a certain number of shots in a period of play where they've got a lot of possession, do you not class that as being on top or dominating them? Do you not?
I don't think it's dominating. I think if you are not having shots at goal, you are not battering someone. And this all started with we were battering them. Like you can't. Battering is when the keeper is making save after save, shots being cleared off the line, corner. We literally had a lot of possession in that first 15 minutes for me. And I remember saying to you on the watch on Perchy, this is great, lots of possession, but we're not going anywhere. Like, we don't know how to open teams up. And I keep being told I'm wrong, but we haven't scored more than 2 goals in a game for about 3 months.
Okay.
Well, we've only done that once, though.
Right, I understand what you're saying now. Where we have a difference of opinion is, I think you can be dominating or being on top in the game without having lots of shots. I believe that's possible. You don't.
But not battering them. You can't batter a team if you're not troubling them.
Okay, let's take the word battering out of it then. Okay, I retract the word battering and I replace it with, I think Spurs for the first 20 minutes were the dominating team on top. I think we had Chelsea where we wanted them for the first 20 minutes.
Sure.
Can we agree on that then?
I agree on that, but the difference is we were on top. The difference with them is they looked threatening, we didn't. That's the difference. The difference between us and them, we couldn't create chances. The difference is they found out very quickly after we'd run out of gas how to get in behind us and have chances.
I don't think we ran out of gas. I agree that they had more chances. That bit I agree. After that 20-minute period, I agree. I don't think we ran out of gas. I think mentally we self-imploded. I think we had a mental.
If we did,
mentally, again, we just were weak. We were weak on the day.
Commentators like, listen, Phil. I suppose the difference is none of us know what would have happened if we'd stayed to 11 men. But what I hate is it's the insinuation from Spurs fans that we definitely win that with 11v11. Well, the flow of that game wasn't going that way. The flow of the game at the time of the sending off and the time of the hamstring, it was all Chelsea. That's not a lie, right?
Can I just say, we scored first against Wolves and then we self-imploded, like in terms of the way
every
we were
week.
playing.
Every week.
With the same thing.
I think we all agree we were shit in that game throughout, though, other than that moment.
We were, but we started that game, that first 3 minutes, right? We was like, wow, you know, we're all over them. First 3 minutes, got the goal, and then it was like take the foot off the gas. And it was almost like a similar thing with Chelsea as well, because, like, you know, we played well first 15, 20 minutes, we got the goal in between, and then it was like, okay, well, let's just take it easy a little bit, you know.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, Ellie, sorry,
do.
I shouldn't have said you were lying. Apologies. You know how passionate I get. But the thing is, again, when we're saying things like we had them on the ropes, I don't understand how you can have a team on the ropes when you are not having any shots at their goal. Like, they had us on the ropes. The fact that they had 7 shots, right, since we had our last one, and 3 disallowed goals and red card situations. It feels like, I'll tell you what it feels like, guys, to me. Yeah, hopefully everyone's enjoyed this show tonight, right? Hopefully everyone's enjoyed this show. So it's all back. We're all friends, right? Right. The thing that we can't do, it feels like after every game, you're never allowed to say anything that isn't Spurs have played great football, Spurs dominated. I've been watching us, as everyone else has, for the last couple of months. I don't think we've been convincing at all. And to get this back to where it was, when we're saying with our best team, we compete with everybody. I'm watching our best team. It was crap against Fulham, other than the first 15 minutes. It was crap against Liverpool. It was crap against Luton. We were awful against Palace. We, again, 15, 20 minutes spell against Chelsea. Then it was crap. We were crap for 90 minutes against Wolves. But yet we keep coming out and going, with our best 11, where is this coming from? What am I not seeing that everyone else is seeing how good we are?
Okay, when you're talking about the performance in terms of on the eye, you're right. There are games we've won this year where we haven't looked good. 100%. I totally agree with that. But what I think is with this 11 of Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie, Bissouma sitting in front of Vicario, I think we're very hard to score against. And defensively,
I don't think so.
I think we are. I know we do give away a number of chances, but I think we also miss quite a few chances, so it balances out. But I do think there's a resilience in this team with that first 11 that makes us competitive.
I don't at all. Luton missed. Hang on. There's a difference between being resilient and hard to beat. I watched Liverpool pull our defence apart, right, with 10 men. With 10 men, the number of chances they got in our box, Arsenal chance after chance, Luton chance after chance. Wolves.
We missed 4 chances against Luton. We missed 4 against Luton as well, Savva. That's my point.
I'm not saying we didn't. I wasn't talking about our attack. I'm talking about at the back. When we're talking about we're hard to beat, I want to see us. Vindaloo, by the way, I'll get rid of you if you say crap like that. No one's expecting that at all. It's not. Right?
I think
I just refute this, that we've been this brilliant, like I keep hearing, Van de Ven and Romero have been the best centre-half pairing. But that didn't show with the number of goals that we had conceded, the number of chances that we give up compared to all the other teams around us. I just don't think it stacks up. I feel like we're so desperate to be better than we are that we're creating fake narratives after games. Right?
Listen,
it's this. If it had stayed 11v11 versus Liverpool, we win that game, definitely. Well, no one knows that. If it had stayed 11v11 v Chelsea, we win that. No one knows that. How do we know this? So the point I'm making is, who's the best team we've beaten this year?
What, with 11v11?
11v11, who's the best team we've beaten this year?
Man United.
Right, I rest my case. The best team we've beaten, 11v11, is a shambolic Man United team who can only beat the likes of Luton and Fulham.
But can I just say, I want to just pull up the hypocrisy on something, because it's quite incredible. You made a great point, actually, what I just want to pull up on. It's funny, isn't it? Because when we played Liverpool and all the Liverpool fans were coming into chats going, well, if it was 11v11, we'd have won the game. We'd have gone, well, we don't know that. We can't now be the team to say, oh, well, if it stayed 11v11, we'd have beaten Chelsea. We can't have it both ways. We all were there. Listen, we've all been in chats when Liverpool fans are getting angry, going, we've been robbed at 11v11, we batter you. Well, based on what? There's no evidence for it. We can't then be the team to go, well, if it stays 11v11, we would have battered Chelsea. We have no evidence for that. And I think this is the bit for me. Like, I think what I see a lot of is when we talk about it and we talk about who we've beaten and being top of the league. Do you know what? I feel like it sounds really bad, but I genuinely think that being top of the league has made everyone think that we're better than we actually are. I think you look at the teams that we've played, and I used it when we were top of the league and we played those 10 games. I made this before we lost to Chelsea and then before we lost to Wolves. I made the point at the time is out of those 10 teams, 7 of them were in the bottom 10 at the time, were in the bottom half of the table.
Right.
I expect
not allowed to say this, Perchy. Not allowed to say this though, because it's true.
But and then 3 of them were in the top, and 3 of them were in the top 10, which were it was Liverpool, Arsenal, and
Man United.
Man United. So thank you. And this is my point, right? And I think we have to be genuine in what we say here. We started well, but we haven't been sitting there battering teams. This notion that because we're winning games of football, all of a sudden it comes along as, we're turning people over. Well, we're having good spells in games, but we're seeing a lot of what we saw last season.
Spells, Perchy. This is the difference.
This is my point. We're seeing good spells in it, but I think people don't want it because we're winning games of football. But now we're losing games of football. It's, if it was that, we could have done that. If it was that, we could have done. Well, if buts and maybes are rubbish. Like I think we're now seeing. It's a bit hard to judge it now based on losing a lot of these players. We're now going to start seeing the sort of problems that we're having. And I think people just, for me at the moment, just got way too carried away. Said it at the time, and I got shunned for saying it, but I said we got way too carried away. But I don't think apart from us battering Burnley, I think that was the only game of football this season. I genuinely say that we played unbelievable for 90 minutes.
Do you know what's interesting? Like when I look at this point, and I think I agree with this. Absolutely, I agree with this. But there's a difference, Steve. But I'm not saying I've not been encouraged with certain things that I've seen. But that doesn't mean that we should be getting carried away by every game. So just because we were dog shit under Antonio Conte to watch doesn't mean all of a sudden that every game that we don't play like Antonio Conte that we're good to watch. Like it feels like you're not allowed to say the truth now because of, don't you remember last season? Well, yeah, I do remember last season. But guys, who watched the Crystal Palace game?
Yeah.
It was absolutely. We had one shot on goal in the game. Again, it was embarrassing. With this, and to bring this full circle, this is my point. We're talking about when we go and play teams like Man City, Atletico Madrid, like we'll give anyone a game. I don't think we've got any proof of that. I think we're doing all of this. Do you know what we're doing this based off of? A good 45 minutes versus Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's what I think we're doing. All of this. Other than that, we've not played anybody. No, JS, we didn't dominate the Palace game. Again, right, let's look. Again, I'll show you. Right, the Crystal Palace game, this is where we are making things up. In the Crystal Palace game, right, we had one shot on goal in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
One shot on their goal in 90 minutes.
Can I just say, also, the other thing that is clouding over everything is that after every game, it's the Ange quotes, it's the Ange football thing. You know, it's everything being talked up after every game. It's making us seem as if we've been battering teams, we've been this, we've been that, and I think that's played a big part as well. You know, coming out with all the quotes after the games.
I just has just a sort of add on to. I think this is the point, right? I think for me, and this is where I stood. People go, "Oh, well, look at last season." Well, yeah, we have improved from last season.
Yes.
I think that's the key bit. We have improved from last season, but the difference is when I think about improvements, I look at it as a build and a bridge, right? Some people already think we're on the other side of the bridge already. We're on the other side. We've already. Loads of people think we've already crossed the river. Going, we're playing incredible. We're wiping for. No, we're not. I mean, we were 1-0 down to one of the worst teams in the league in Sheffield United on the 97th minute.
Can I say one thing? This is where I don't think people in the chat listen. So when people like this, right? Tom Thacker's not understanding what I'm saying. Tom, I'm the one saying he needs time to implement the football that everyone thinks we're playing. Right? I'm the one that didn't start saying we were going to win the league because we were top after 10 games. Right? It's the people that think every game is brilliant and that we were going to win league titles. They're the ones that need to take this advice. For me, I've seen snippets of what we can do. That's great. But what I can't stand is that all of a sudden afterwards, everyone, so I know you're agreeing with me, Tom, in a way, but what I can't stand is we get to the end of every game, Ange says, Hass is bang on. Ange says something really upbeat and everyone goes, love Ange ball. And I'm like, hang on. I didn't see any Ange ball v Palace. I didn't see any Ange ball after the 15th minute against Luton. I didn't see any Ange ball against Sheffield United. I didn't see any Ange ball against Wolves. I didn't see any Ange ball after the 15 minutes against Chelsea. Like, I think everyone needs to calm down and stop bigging us up to be this great team. And this all started because Stel thought we could go toe-to-toe with anyone. I don't think we can. I think
we're not there yet.
I don't think we're there yet.
No, I think our starting 11 will compete with anyone. Compete doesn't mean
I
we'll
just
win.
don't.
Doesn't mean
I don't.
I do agree. There's games this year where we've been underwhelming. I do agree. There's games this year where we've ridden our luck. But I think that the 11 we've got, but only the 11, by the way. I'm confident. I haven't been this confident since Poch with this 11.
Can I say 9 instead of 11? Can I say 8? I want to say 8. I don't think it's 11.
I would take Porro out of it.
I think Porro is dreadful defensively, right? He is. He's terrible defensively.
No, I agree. I don't think he's good defensively. I agree.
I'm still not sold on the two either side of Son. And I'll be honest. I'll tell you what. If I'm going to be hypercritical, I'm still not sold on Papa Sarr. Right? I think we've got a very good first 7 or 8. After that, I think we've got a couple of really weak areas in the team. That is why I think he needs 2 to 3 years to be able to build and grow that out before we start talking about winning titles. Everyone misconstrues what I'm saying, Stel, as in I think we should be doing it now. I don't think we should be doing it now. But listen, we're going to go in 8 minutes.
I agree. It's going to take time, and I certainly was not one of these people that said we're going to win the league. I was like telling people stop saying that. Like, it's madness.
But if you notice now the people that said it still, what are they saying now? Those that are going, oh, but injuries, yeah, which is exactly the point that people were presenting as to why we weren't going to win the league.
What I was going to say is I've got confidence in the starting 11, but outside of that, I have zero confidence, like none. As soon as we make subs, I panic. I literally panic. I'm thinking, oh no, he's come on.
I
agree.
I say this all the time though. As soon as James Maddison comes off the pitch, I agree. And do you know what? That's the point I've been trying to make. That's one substitution, right? One substitution. You take James Maddison off the pitch, and I don't see us create very, very little. But yeah.
Look, let's quickly, last 7 minutes. I know we have 7 more minutes. I've actually got to film something after this. Not live, but I've got to film something else. Aston Villa this weekend, really quickly. I mean, it's been done to death throughout the week because no one's had any content. But Hass, give me a quick overview. What are you expecting from the team? What are you expecting the scorelines to be? And does Ange actually go back to what everyone told me he was going to do and try and attack? Or are we going to go with 3 holding midfielders again?
Look, I think we're playing at home. We've got to try and give it a go. We've got players out at the moment. But I don't think we should give too much away against Aston Villa because we know what their strengths are. They've got pace on either wing. They've got good finish. They've got a very good finisher in Ollie Watkins at the moment. Big, strong, powerful, who's also got pace. And for me, I was saying this yesterday as well, McGinn scares the life out of me. I know they've got all these players, but he always turns up against us. And I think that the 3 in the middle are going to have to really put in a shift, rotate between each other because there's no one to sort of replace Maddison at the moment. No one can sort of replicate what Maddison does in this team. So, they really are going to have to be on it. For me, I don't know who the middle 3 is going to be. One thing's for sure, though. I think he's going to start with Sarr. Bentancur is probably going to start. He played both international games. He's got minutes under his belt now. And I think he'll go for Højbjerg just as a sort of hold-in, sort of the one that's going to be a bit further back. I think he'll persist with those players. But we've just got to be strong. For me, what doesn't bode well is the fact that we've got Porro on the right, who has the potential to have stinkers against really pacey wingers, tricky wingers. It's not going to be an easy day. It's not going to be an easy day. And if I was to call it, I would say it will be 2-1 to Aston Villa.
Okay, 2-1 Aston Villa. I mean, Perchy, as I said, a lot was made after the Chelsea game about, we're really glad that he played this ridiculous high line on the halfway line and he's going to continue to attack. Then we get to Villa, to Wolves, and he completely went against all of that. What Tottenham are we going to see this week? Are we going to see a team that attacks with some flair? Or are we going to see a midfield three that includes the likes of Skip and Højbjerg?
Do you know what? If I was Angepostecoglou now, I'd kind of just go for it. And you've got nothing. The way I look at it, you've got nothing to lose. Listen, I think at the moment, pound for pound, with the players available, Villa have got a better squad than us. A better 11, so is the best way to put it. But Villa have got a better squad.
I think they've got a better squad. I think they've got a better squad.
You could say squad as well, but pound for pound, if we pick 11, I think at the moment, with the players available, Villa are a better team than us. At the moment, I think there's no disagreeing. Can we get a result? Yeah. But do I think we will? Let's always treat it. If I was going to put my money on anything, would I put money on Spurs winning? No. If I had to pick someone, I'd put it on Villa, because I think you've got more chance of Villa getting a result. I think we'll score. I think we lose 3-1, but I think we get a goal. But listen, the one thing I want to see, win, lose or draw, I want to see us just give it a go. Listen, we've got nothing to lose now. Listen, it's not the players that we expect. You've got the likes of it looks like a doggy's playing. So what? Porro, Dyer, Davis, a doggy, then a midfield of what? Højbjerg, Sarr, Lo Celso. Listen, I expect Lo Celso to play. I think it'd be mad if he doesn't. It'd be crazy if he doesn't.
I don't think he'll play him. I don't think he'll play him.
But then here's the question, right? And this is the one thing, because I keep heard of the Wolves game, Ange won't make the same mistake, and I use it as an argument. Fine, I don't expect, if he doesn't make the same mistake, I don't care. By the way, if it's Kulusevski down the middle and he plays, I don't know, Johnson on one wing, Son down the middle and play Valise, I don't care, whoever it is. But if he plays at a midfield three that would be a Skip involved, because obviously there's no Bissouma, then you've got to ask questions, because it didn't work against Wolves. I expect to change, but I think we're going to lose 3-1. Yeah, I think it'll be hard. It'll be hard done by if we get a result. It'll be the best result of the season if we get a result against them.
Just quickly, Stel, before I come to you, look, we've got 2 minutes left of the show. Please, can we get 7 more subs so that we can reach our target for the night of 11,900? If we can get 7 more from the last 2 or 3 minutes, that would be absolutely amazing. Please do. The link is in the chat. Stel, Villa away. We talked about it briefly earlier on 10 in 10. I'm seeing a lot of people write Villa off. We do this with a lot of teams, though. What are you thinking, Villa?
3-1 to Villa. People say they're not that good on the road, which is true. They haven't had a good season on the road. But for a team that's pretty bad on the road, they're 1 point behind Spurs, and yet we're going to praise Spurs. So we can't be praising Spurs and then dismissing Villa on the road when they're 1 point behind us. There's got to be some balance here. So for me, Villa's a very good team. They've got a good squad. They've got a good manager. They don't have the injuries that we've got or suspensions. They've had just as much rest as we have had in the last international break period. I think that when you watch the Wolves game again, what scared the hell out of me was the way, as soon as a team attacks down the wing, we are all over the shop. And one through ball down the middle, Dyer misreads it. Davies hasn't got the pace. I mean, they're going to sit back deep and just block shit. Fine. But that's not how we're going to play, because we don't play deep. But we don't always play with a high line. So against Chelsea, we play that super high line like that. Normally we play kind of a mid-line, but if we're pressed forward on an attack, we push up. I think we will go for it. I think we went for it against Wolves. We were just awful at it. I just thought we were terrible at doing it. because we don't have the players on the pitch that can do it. I predict Dyer and Davies will start. I predict that Højbjerg will start, and I predict that Bentancur will start with Pape Sarr. That's what I think we'll do, and it will be Brennan Johnson and Kulu out wide. There's going to be no change to the last game other than in comes Bentancur for bissouma. That's the only change we're going to see, which means, yeah, we might have a good 10, 15-minute spell in the game, but once Villa get control of that game, I think that entire back line and holding mid are going to get ripped to pieces. And for me, Wolves did not finish their dinner. I think Villa will. And this is what scares me. I hope that we put in the best performance of the season. Dyer has a cracker. Davies has a cracker. That Porro's brilliant. Højbjerg doesn't get done for pace or puts any misplaced passes. And I hope the front line create more than what they did last time. I just don't see it happening. Can I
just say something?
I hope I'm wrong. I want Spurs to win. I want everyone to understand. I'm a Spurs fan. I always want us to win. I will defend Ange to the end. I defend every manager to the end. But the players at his disposal right now, I think, are crap. He's got players there.
Sorry, can I just say, Savva, I know you need to go badly. Just one question for Stel. Do you reckon this is the game, games like this, that Son really needs to step up and be a captain? Because there's no other captains on the pitch. There's no Romero. There's no Maddison. Does he need to galvanise this team tomorrow?
What does that look when you say step up? When you say step up, what's he got to do that he didn't do against Wolves? What is it you want to see?
Well, I didn't see him running around, geeing the players up and saying, "Look, come on, let's go." This and I didn't see that. You might have. I didn't.
And against Chelsea as well, I didn't see. But listen, guys, I can't let this debate begin. I really need to wrap up the show. I'm so sorry. I really, really do. Listen, just really quickly. Listen, thank you, because since we asked for the 7 more subscribers, we've actually lost 3. Thank you for those people. I sometimes wonder why we bother putting on these long shows for people, Perchy, where people just unsubscribe. Lovely, jubbly. Please smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. The link is in the chat. I just want to say as well, when people are talking about Villa's terrible away record, 2 of their 3 away defeats have been Newcastle United and Liverpool. That's 2 of their 3 away defeats. And I'll ask this question: who have Spurs beaten away? When we're talking about their terrible Villa, away record.
Has, and that Villa game against Liverpool. So no, Newcastle v Liverpool. Take back what I said. Forget what I was about to say. Forget.
But by the way, just before we go, Will Stewart.
Oh, Faz, hang on, Faz, politely, just F off. You're in here all the time, mate. You're always trying to wind me up. I unblock you. You come in, dude. Just go away. Do you know how much effort goes into a YouTube channel? And you just come in here and you're just nasty all the time. Just F off, mate. I don't know what your problem is. Just go away. You're a nasty piece of work. He truly is. Nasty piece of work, this bloke. Well, I've got to end the show, guys. I've got to end the show. I'm really disappointed we ended the show with losing 4 more subscribers. But listen, big up to everyone other than Faz, who's a complete arse. Thank you, Stel, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Has, thanks for coming on. We'll be back next week. Hang on. Will Stewart put a video out showing what he did to captain the team. Oh, God, of course he did. I'm not going to be watching
Happy birthday to Will Stewart, by the way. It's his birthday. That's why he's not here.
I thought, is his birthday?
It's Thanksgiving.
No,
it's
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Not his birthday. It's Thanksgiving in America.
I'm up for that. Happy birthday, Will. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Will. Why not?
Why not? Next week,
anyway,
my birthday.
Thanks, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Listen, we try and bring you some heated debates. Some people like it, some people don't. I think if you watch my channel by now, you kind of know that that's what I'm going to try and bring. I don't want to be light and fluffy. Big up to everyone. Take care, and please smash the subscribe button on your way out. Take care, everyone. And as always, come on, you Spurs.